of whatever evidence is unearthed from whatever source, because for 15 months, every stitch of evidence has been consistent with my client's innocence.
What is up, guys? Let's go.
In the meantime, my client suffers. In the meantime, her life is on hold, while she spends every waking moment defending herself. Emotionally, intellectually, and financially. We cannot abide by excuses any longer. We need this court's help. We need you, Your Honor, respectfully.
Juror, quote, believes that every member of the jury, if asked, will confirm that the jury reached not guilty verdicts.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the transparency. You think I'm crazy? What is up, guys? Welcome. Come on in. What are we drinking tonight? That's how serious this is. Look at that. Look at that. So serious. So serious. We are so serious. Can you guys believe it that Justin Timberlake canceled on Columbus again? Yes, he was supposed to be live back in October of 2024. They rescheduled to February of February 28th, 2025. He then cancels again. I think he doesn't want to be around the, what do they call them? The Express Abercrombie models that Jeffrey... Yeah, that's what I thought. Welcome. Special shout out to all the mods in chat. Special shout out to all the mods in chat. I guess there were some like people talking about that. Truth and Transparency is crazy. Talking about Matthew McCabe, Jennifer McCabe. There's like a mix up here in their data. Well, I just want to present to everybody that there is not a mix-up. So I have no idea about what's truly going on in the world of Karen Reed, other than the fact that if they truly look at Motion 66, Richard Green's affidavit with the supplements of the exhibits, it's all right there. So the data that I'm using for everything that I've talked about when it comes to Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, it's all coming from Richard Green's affidavit and exhibits. So here we go. Everything should be black right now, so don't worry about it. Lana, we see nothing. I want you guys to see nothing. I'm just staring at the computer, so I have something to share with you guys though as well. Truth and Transparency, I promise you guys, we can't see anything. Well, I don't want you to see anything because nobody needs to see anything. We need to talk about it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy the link here. And I've heard some people say Lana's crazy, so I want to talk about it. So here we go. That's the link. It's shared. Hit the link. I'll bring you on stage. Lana, it was a lot to process on Thursday, but I watched today and I completely understand. I forgot Maddie was there early a.m. at 34 Fairview. Most of us thought he came later. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about Maddie, but Batty for Fatty. I want to defend, but not cover a new. I don't need to defend shit, but we all have our own something to share for the greater good. Yeah, absolutely. There you go. There it is. Perfect. But there's a link. So the exhibits that were filed with Richard Green's affidavit were Jennifer McCabe's Celebrate steps, her heart rate, and then John O'Keefe steps, floors. So everything that I took my work off of came from the Celebrate extraction from Jennifer McCabe's phone and John O'Keefe's phone, as well as the cell records that were not deleted and still in Celebrate for Karen Reed's phone. So what I am saying is that if you compare and you isolate Jennifer McCabe's iPhone compared to her Apple Watch, when you have the Apple Watch actually on your body, on your person, then that's going to follow you for your steps per step. When you actually compare the iPhone to the Apple Watch, it's so obvious that somebody is moving with Jennifer McCabe's phone. That's not Jennifer McCabe. I mean, I'm sorry. That's not Jen McCabe's phone is moving while she's not moving. And so you have to work your way back to see where the phone was separated from the girl. And that takes you all the way back to the night of the murder. And I call it a murder because they call it a murder. So yeah. Oh, there we go. We just need you to. I have somebody backstage, but they just have to make sure that the device can connect. So, mediocrity, chicken bar. Just up back in here again. I shared the link, so go ahead and make sure you guys click it. I shared the link, and the link is for. There we go. There we go. What's up? What you got for me? Dylan, you are on stage next. There you go. Unmute yourself. Otherwise, I have to kick you from the stage. All right, next up. Next up. Look at how serious I am right now. This is so serious. So serious. Oh. Again, making sure you guys are accessible here. Look at that. It's so serious. I'm like, what the fuck? Hit the link. It's right there. The link is right there. Here you go. Where's the link? Share my link. This is what it's all for. Let's hit the link. If you guys have something to say, I'm right here. Here's a link. Questions. There they are. Just hit the link. Let's go. Bring it up. You guys have to connect your device. Your device has to connect. Click the link, Claire. Is the screen supposed to be black? Yeah, the screen's supposed to be black. We'll just remove that. Lana is ready for Matt. Jen, Google. I mean, I'm ready for it. Let's go. Oh, there it is. Hi.
What?
Can you hear?
No. Can you?
If you can hear me, if I'm saying what? Hello?
Yeah. Let me mute that. What up?
Oh, wait. Hi.
What up?
How are you?
I don't know. Bored, listless, amused.
Okay. I'm going to put myself against. I don't know what. Yeah, hold on.
Don't blow me up like that.
Okay. Is that okay? Here, I'll put you in the corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little corner.
There we go. Okay. So what do you think? What do you think of life?
Life is okay.
Okay, so this is Chick Bait on stage. All right, so what do you think? I asked for people to come up and argue with me or tell me that I'm right. Either one.
I want to argue with you.
And
also tell you that you're right.
Okay, let's bring it. What do you got?
You're right. But I'm going to argue with you.
Okay.
Karen Reed.
Karen Reed. Yes, we're talking about Karen Reed. Woo, woo, woo.
She's been in the media lately. Have you not heard?
A little bit.
Have you done any shows about it?
No.
Yeah, I know.
First one.
I know, right? So I really think we should start like from square one. Karen Reed is a person, and she exists.
But my question is about my work in the Karen Reed case.
Oh, your work? Okay,
Yeah.
your work is phenomenally something.
Okay, so I went ahead and put out a timeline that showed that Matt McCabe was actually the Googler for 227 and 622.
I want to know one thing.
Okay.
There was a thing about the thing with the person, a woman that Googled how do you die in the cold?
Yeah. House long to die. You don't know about that?
No, I want to go back to that.
Yeah, that's the wife of Matt McCabe.
Yeah. I want to know what you feel about that.
She didn't do the Google search. The husband did from her phone.
The husband did from her phone. Oh,
yes.
That's really telling. Okay, so why am I here?
Okay. I have no idea, but bye-bye. I think Chick Bait was just being funny. She's trying to get us all hyped up. So hit the link, guys. That was funny. Yeah. Is she a little stoner? No hate. Girl, what's wrong with you? Girl, what is wrong with you? Love her though. We're giving props to her though. Again, guys, here is I was told that people said, Lana, you crazy. So I said, okay, let's just do it. Here you go. Here's a link. Tell me I'm crazy about my research and I'll put it up there and we can talk about it. She's a fluffer. Exactly. So there's the link. And basically what I've told the world is that Matt McCabe had Jen McCabe's phone on the first level. Jen goes upstairs as her Apple Watch indicates that she goes upstairs, but her phone does not go with her. Her phone is still on the first level. Then Matt McCabe gets into her phone. He Googles from her phone. Then at 6:22, I showed you guys that he then Googles from her phone as well. So, oh wait, here we go. What is up?
Wait, am I live right now?
Oh my God, you're live.
How are you?
Hi, how are you?
We're good. My brother's learning how to cook right now.
Oh, there you go. Get it.
We just wanted to show appreciation because
I love it.
For us, it's like complicated to read documents. Like I haven't read a single book my entire life.
Okay.
But the time that you dedicate, like reading documents and like how you explain yourself, like it's top notch, and we really, really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate your appreciation. So let me give you the bell. Love it.
But yeah. No. I know you put a lot of hard work in this.
So what do you think about what I uncovered as far as, have you been watching the Jen McCabe, Karen Reed? Have you guys been watching the case?
We have. It's interesting learning a lot about Apple devices because with Google, if you have Android, right now Android, like you can locate your device even if your device is turned off. If someone steals it.
Yeah.
And also Google Maps has a timeline, and it literally has a timeline for like, hey, come down. Hey, it keeps like a timeline of all the locations you've gone to, and like group your photos, like your photos if you have them like with the location tags on them.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll show you like a whole map of where you've been around the world. It's crazy.
Yeah, totally. Well, so what do you feel like? You feel like my work's solid? Then solid here?
I don't know. I feel like technology does not lie, and especially like with how the devices keep record of your movements and stuff, and where it puts them. I just feel like I don't know.
You down? Okay, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Hey, give a shout out to your cook over there. Chef's
All right,
kiss.
for sure.
Chef's kiss, baby. What's up there? Back on the mic here, Memoria. Is that it? I don't want to. You're up. You have a chance here. There we
Hi,
go.
there's some kind of
Hey,
lag I'm
hey,
hearing.
hey. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me pause you on YouTube or something.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
think this is
yeah.
better.
There you go.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, lovely. I've been following the case for a long time, and
Okay, perfect.
I just got introduced to you. I actually heard about you on Turtle Boy, so
Oh, perfect.
yeah. So are you going to go through that again? Because I feel like I didn't really catch it. I mean, I caught like you saying it,
Yeah.
but I'm wondering if you're going to like put up the documents again, put up the footage again, like during this show and kind of walk us through that slowly. That's my
Yes, so that was the plan. That was the plan. And then I did get a text message about like I guess everybody from the I guess you could say the movement opposite of free Karen Reed watches everything. And so a lot of people are like, don't show them stuff because then they're going to they watch everything or something like that. But my whole point is that there's nothing. I mean, I'm not on a side ever. I'm on the side of just the truth. So I don't care what anybody would ever watch in life. It is what it is. So when you say that you want to watch and see the documents, is it because like you watched? Like, do you not believe that Richard Green, when he says that the phone Googled search 227 house long to die?
Um, I think it's I think that the reason I wanted you to go through it slowly is because I'm just always looking for like the true, like just something true and concrete. And so that's why I was kind of
Mhm.
attracted to what you were saying, because you're talking about when it's he said, she said, we go to the data doesn't lie.
Yeah.
And I wanted,
Well, so all I did was I isolated the iPhone from the watch and the movements. If you have a watch on your like your body, that's like counting your steps versus like if you have your phone could be sitting down next to the uh, the bed and you can get out of bed and you can move around, or the phone could be next to the table that you're sitting at and then you can get up and go get more to eat and wash dishes, but your phone could be sitting there. It's not going to count your steps. But when you have an iPhone, or I'm sorry, an Apple Watch on your body, that becomes like an automatic, like an ankle bracelet, more or less. So
yeah, that
all
makes
I,
sense.
yeah. So what I did, and nobody's ever done this before, was to isolate the iPhone and the watch, the Apple Watch. And when you isolate
Yeah.
those two things, then you look at what moved first. So for me, if the watch starts moving as it should before or either in concert with the phone, then like it's on you when like if it's in your pocket and you're sitting down and you go to start walking, you know what I mean? Like your
Mhm.
watch is moving and your phone is moving. And those should work in concert. And if they're like within like a second or two, like they're moving in concert.
Yeah.
But what I was able to determine based off of the data that was presented from the extraction of the Cellbrite is that the phone and the watch aren't moving in concert like one would think if you actually were the owner of the phone and the watch and you say that you go up to bed. Well, when I'm going upstairs, why isn't my phone going upstairs? When I'm sitting down or in a car, why is my phone moving and I'm not? You know,
Yeah.
so those are the things that off of the data you can clearly see that the phone is moving without the watch moving, which tells anybody that has a brain cell that the phone is moving without the user moving. When I say the,
Yeah.
or I should say the owner of the phone moving, because the phone and the watch are like, it's this is my watch. My name is Jen McCabe. Here's my watch. So everywhere that I go, my watch is totally like, it's like monitoring me like an ankle bracelet. When my phone is moving without my watch moving, that means I'm not moving because I'm stationary. And if my phone is moving without me, it could be like, hey, honey, can you grab my phone and bring it to me? So therefore,
Right.
honey grabs my phone, brings it to me, which would be 8 steps. My watch isn't registering that, but my phone moved the 8 steps, which would let
Right.
anybody know that your phone is moving without you. But the biggest parts about the whole Jen McCabe situation is that every point of the whole Googling of How Long to Die is happening after Jen McCabe moved without her phone, and then she is then stationary, and then her phone is moving then without her watch moving, and therefore in the presence of somebody else. So if you want to think that her children Googled How Long to Die at 2:27, sure. But I believe that it was her husband that Googled How Long to Die at 2:27 after she went upstairs, which the Apple Watch shows that she goes up a flight of stairs without her phone.
Is this the 2:27 or the 6 a.m.?
Yeah, both.
Oh,
So,
both. Okay.
Yeah, she goes upstairs at 2:23. She walks up a flight of stairs at 2:23 after she gets home at 2:13, and so when she gets home at 2:13, she starts moving at 2:13 and 20 seconds, whereas her phone starts moving at 2:13 and 3 seconds. So 16 seconds is moving with her phone. And then she starts moving, so that therefore the person that I believe actually has her phone is her husband, and it's in his pocket, like of his jacket. And or his, and or his hand. Because if the phone starts moving without you to get out of a vehicle, how does that happen? Somebody else is moving with your phone.
Right.
Because otherwise your watch would start moving first, and so Jen has a watch on, which is very, very high accuracy. And so she starts moving, aka Jen starts moving 13 to 17 seconds after her phone starts moving by itself. Then they go inside, and then the phone is moving around. She's moving around. And then she goes upstairs. Her watch physically is calculating one flight of stairs at 2:23 and 20 seconds. Her phone does not go up the flight of stairs. Her phone does not move. Then she plants her ass on her bed. And then 20 seconds after she goes upstairs and she is no longer moving, her phone then, it's like it comes out of like a drawer. You know, if I was to try to hide something from you, I take chick bait. Sorry, but you're being banned from this episode. So, so for me, if I was to walk inside with somebody else and they had my phone and I didn't have it, when I sit down and then I stand up and I start moving, if my phone isn't moving with me, then that means that I don't have my phone with me. But what's interesting and what everybody should be like wowing about is the fact that when Jen McCabe goes upstairs, because her watch goes upstairs, it's on her person. Like she said that she wore her watch, she wore it to bed. There should be no question for people to say, well, what if Jen didn't wear her watch? Did any of those people watch the fucking goddamn trial? Like, I can't even answer these questions because I'm just like, did y'all watch the trial? Jennifer McCabe testified to going to bed with her watch on. Yeah. She had her watch on. She slept with it. Okay. There is no, oh, wait, did Jen take a shower and take off her watch? No, y'all. No. That's not what happened at all. Jen McCabe had her watch on the whole entire time. Listen to the testimony. Yeah. Then Jen McCabe, so she goes upstairs. Her watch registers a flight of stairs. Her phone doesn't. After Jen McCabe sits down and her phone her watch literally stops. 20 seconds will go by. and then her phone starts registering steps without her watch registering steps. That is, if anybody was to take the stand, just like they did in the Murdoch murders, you take the stand and you would testify to the fact that this device stops moving. And then this one starts moving. And if this one starts moving without the watch moving, that means that the person that's moving this device over here, her phone, is not her because her watch is not moving. And it does not move for another 7 minutes while her phone is moving and taking steps during a 7-minute period that her phone or that her watch is not moving. And during those 7 minutes, that's when the house lawn to die is Googled off of her phone. That's when the 2 screenshots are deleted. And that is when, like I just told you, the steps were taken. So anybody that wants to sit here and argue with me about who truly Googled house lawn to die, it came from her cell phone during a period of time when it was moving and the phone and the iWatch is not moving. Then on top of it all, I was able to then prove the next following morning when these calls were coming through at 4:53 a.m. and then Matt McCabe is saying, "Oh, I just woke up out of bed into all this crazy ass shit." Well, motherfucker, that phone never went upstairs. So how could you have heard a phone and anybody on it because that phone's downstairs? So did you not sleep in your bed? And this is the biggest part of impeaching people. You want to take what I'm providing and showing that it's not possible that that fat fuck slept in a goddamn bed that night if he heard whatever was being whatever was coming through at 4:53. You couldn't have been sleeping in a bed upstairs because the phone was downstairs. So what now? So those are the biggest things with the phone is, and then let's talk about Alan Jackson's, what is it? His affidavit that he just filed.
Can I hang up and then call you back in a little bit? Sorry.
Can I hang up and call you back in a little bit? I thought you came here to get some answers. Sure thing. There you go. Oh, fuck shit. I just love it, though. I am not a troll. I know the O'Keefes. I'm from Braintree, where John is from. Hit the link, girl. It's very simple. Here's the link. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Do you guys know what motion I'm talking about when I say motion 66? I just can't. You know what should like scare people right now is that nobody wants to talk about this who's been talking about the case for a long time because they think it's a knock on them, and it's not at all. It actually enhances everything to do with the Karen Reed case for Karen Reed. Okay. Hey, $50 here. I had somebody, Speedy Bird, she bought a membership for somebody. Thank you so much. I want to say $20. I want to say when you put this info out, it was a lot to digest. I was balls deep in motions. I needed to watch more than once to understand where you were coming from. Love you, girl. Data doesn't lie. People do. They do. And I'm so glad that Talk Time with Amy from Boston is here because I love her to death. And that's the whole thing is that everybody's been told since a long time is that it was Jen McCabe's. It was Jen McCabe's phone that did the Googling. No doubt about it. Jen McCabe's cell phone totally Googled house lawn to die in the cold. All I'm trying to explain to the world is that nobody ever isolated the iPhone's movements compared to the iWatch movements. And when you actually do, like they did in the Murdoch murders, and this is what got that motherfucker convicted, okay, is when somebody showed the movements. All right. And when you do that, and that's why I'm trying to help out Karen Reed, is that Micah Sturgis is one of the best in the business. Micah Sturgis, write that name down. Google the fuck out of that name. I would call him a friend, and I research and plot and put timelines together. And then I take them to experts and I say, hey, what do you think about this? Well, God, yeah, if this is a data that you're working with and this is what it says, then holy shit, yeah. The phone is definitely moving without the eye or the Apple Watch moving. The Apple Watch is not moving when the phone is moving. So that means if the person is truly wearing their watch, like they testified to in trial 1, this is where a lawyer would take this and run with it. You have Jennifer McCabe testifying to wearing the watch that night before the murder, that night, then during the murder, and then that morning during finding the body, and then after finding the body. You have her by the fucking tits that she is wearing that watch. Awesome. Now, let's look at the phone's movements compared to the watch's movements. And they don't move in concert. That means when the Apple Watch wearer is sitting still for 7 consecutive minutes during a very important time, the phone is moving during a very important time, where then during that important time, it is being Googled how long to die at 6:22. Jennifer McCabe sits down at 6:17 and 50 seconds. She passes her phone off to her husband, who then is acting like, oh, here, I'm going to call Matt or I'm going to call Brian because my phone's in my SUV. Matt McCabe was at the scene. This is why it's imperative to go and look at Alan Jackson's affidavit that he just filed a couple days ago, where he shows Tully's report. Matt McCabe is asking to watch the cruiser dash cam to see himself and what times it's showing him on camera. I didn't even know that when I came out with my interpretation of the data. Alan Jackson should be having a jerk-off party in fucking LA right now. And he should be having a freak-off over what I found. So the point is when you take the stuff to an expert and they say, so you're showing me data, this is the phone, and this is the watch. And they're wearing the watch, and they testified to wearing the watch throughout the night. Yep, they slept in it. What do you think about that? Wow. Okay, so they're saying they slept in the watch. They were wearing it the night of the murder, and they were wearing it when they found the body. And then, wow. Okay, so then we can go ahead and take the watch, and then we can look at the movements of the phone. Absolutely. I see what you're saying, Lana. Okay. So that's exactly what I showed. And I showed that the phone is moving when the watch is not moving. And then I showed that the watch goes upstairs, not on one occasion, but on 2 occasions without the phone at very important, crucial times, which is when Jennifer McCabe went upstairs to tell her sister and Brian supposedly that, hey, there's police here outside, come outside. When Jen McCabe goes upstairs to do that, her phone never goes up and registers a flight of stairs. The only thing that registers a flight of stairs is her watch. And that's indicative of what I said, which is that Matt McCabe had the phone because Matt McCabe took it off of her at 6:17 and 50 seconds. So these are all things that I don't care if you don't want to get behind. I don't care what you want to get behind or not. This is what the data shows, and this is a way to impeach Jen and Matt's testimony, which is very, very, very important in trial 2. So, Atlanta, someone asked if you thought that Matt could have been driving Allie. But that's not even what I'm fucking talking about. I don't care about that. I'm talking about the movements. You guys, this isn't about theories. Did you guys get to see Motion 66 and see the exhibits, or was I just gifted the opportunity to see that? Because the exhibits in Motion 66 were Jen McCabe's steps, John O'Keefe's steps, Jen McCabe's heart rate, because she was wearing an Apple Watch, and that app was downloaded on her phone, which was extracted during Celebrate, which was extracted during the Celebrate situation. So we're really just focusing in, because if we can prove that Matt McCabe, which I've done, Googled from Jen's phone, house long to die, that means he was using her phone because he knew that his phone was subject to be confiscated and download. That's why he used her phone to do the Googling. And that's what happened at 2:27. And then he was at the scene of the crime, and he got there at 6:15. And then he took her phone and he reciprocated that, or I guess you could say, like, he then Googled it again because he's the IT person. He had also talked to Higgins, and they needed to get that phone to Google that again, all to frame Karen Reed. So, but it definitely was not Jennifer McCabe that Googled house long to die. It was Matt McCabe. And all of this helps Karen Reed. If somebody would take the time, that's an expert, to take the research and to look at it, and then they could say, yeah, actually, that's 100% plausible because the phone is moving when the watch is not. And that would mean that the phone is moving without the owner of the phone moving. They do not have Matt's data. They do not. They tried to get, everybody's been so keen on getting the Albert's data. The person that's really needed is Matt McCabe, his data. Forrest, nice breakdown on the phone and watch, Lana. One follow-up question. Jen's phone is downstairs. Yep. Well, Fatty is having his 2 a.m. cheesy snack. Sure. Does the phone stay downstairs until Karen calls? Yep, 100%. The phone does not go upstairs until 5:32. And that's why it's really, really important for the defense to hone in on that. So only diehards of this case get what you're saying. Yep. So basically, the phone, when it enters the house of the McCabe's at 2:13 and 20 seconds a.m., it stays in the first level. It remains in the first level for the entire duration until 5:32 and some seconds, when it goes in concert back upstairs, or for the first time upstairs, with the phone or with the iWatch wearer, the Apple Watch wearer and the phone go upstairs together, which is the first time for the phone to go upstairs, but the second time for the watch wearer to go upstairs. And so that is indicative of the watch wearer went upstairs, like it indicates at 2:23 and 10 seconds. Then the iWatch wearer comes downstairs at some point between 2:31, when the iWatch wearer then moves again. So at 2:31, the iWatch wearer could have either went downstairs or just moved to go pee. But either way, the phone for the very first time goes upstairs at 5:38 a.m., which is after Karen Reed is physically in the driveway of Jennifer McCabe. So all of those calls from 4:30 or from 4:53 and some odd seconds until 5:32, that phone was all on the first level, which is really, really important because Matt McCabe couldn't be woken out of bed to Jen. That's the whole, that's like very, very important. Question. Did the niece call a landline or she called Jen's cell phone? Can we see Matt on police cam? Yes, you can from the dash cam. Matt asked to see the dash cam and Tully showed him the dash cam that Matt was on. Matt McCabe arrives and takes out of a Faraday bag, in my opinion, O'Keefe's cell phone. But I know for a fact that Fatty Matty was definitely on scene by 6:15 a.m. And then he starts calling from Jennifer McCabe's phone, his own phone, to make it seem like that he's not there and crazy shit. He's a fucking dude. He's sick. He's a sick fuck. Yes, your timelines, Miss Lana. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Lana, do you have a watch and an iPhone? Lana, do I have one? I have an iPhone, yes. Lana, the only expert you need to explain all of this to the jurors, the judge, and the lawyers is a teenager. Yeah, pretty much. How are people not grasping this concept? I know. You want to know what it boils down to? People don't like me, number one. Number two is that they think some way this disproves everything that they've said for 2 years, and it doesn't. It actually enhances everything that they've said. You guys, Jennifer McCabe covered for her fat fucking husband. That fat fuck. All right. It's the husband. She was like, fuck my husband, goddamn it, but that's the daddy of her kids. Jen McCabe had a choice and she made her choice. She covered for that fat fuck. But the person that Googled that at 2:27 was him. And the person that did it again to try to cover for that was him, which makes perfect sense to anybody that has a fucking brain because he's the IT guy, but he was also instructed by Higgins to do so after he had already Googled it to like get in front of that phone. Then more importantly, everybody thinks that like Jen's phone was just always Jen doing things. No, Jen just covered for people. And her husband, that fat fuck, when Turtle Boy was interviewing Jen at that damn lacrosse game or whatever lacrosse game, that's why he was doing what he was doing. But I just think it's great. Like, what type of a man lets a woman fall for her? Like, the world thinks that she's this big Googler house loan to die, Well, this whole time is that Hoss motherfucking pig. It was him. And it's really important to show that this is way more. This information puts them all on the hook way more than it did ever just with Jen. This is somebody that took somebody else's phone to hide the fact because he was expecting his phone to be taken because he was with John. So, yeah. Sherry D, remind us about how Maddie acted at lacrosse game. Oh, he bucked up to Turtle Boy, bumped him or something, right? Yeah. He was like, she didn't Google it. And he was right. That fat fuck did. You guys, the hat, the shoe, those were all in the possession of Matt McCabe / Higgins. Those were the only people that could have planted that. The police didn't have those items. Higgins had access to Canton, the police department. I mean, it's all right there, but it's fine. The data's there. That fat fuck. I'm crying. Yeah, everybody should. You performed an actual forensic analysis of the data. His is what should be expected from the experts. Hold on, I'm trying to read that. Okay. Holy donuts. You performed an actual forensic analysis of the data. No, the actual forensic analysis, I did an actual forensic of the data. It's called the manual, logical manual extraction. They did the physical extraction. I took the data from the exhibits that were provided in Motion 66, and then I plotted the points, and I separated the iPhone from the Apple Watch to show that the watch wearer was not moving when the phone was moving at very crucial points during the times that were important in this case. And it shows that the phone is moving when the watch wearer who owns the phone is not. And that would be during the times of the house law to die, the calling of the Albert number at 6:23 a.m., the calling of Matt McCabe because he called himself to make it seem like he wasn't there. This motherfucker got in front of everything, and he did it with Jen's phone, and he did it with Jen's phone the night before. And I believe Jen was hammered. Jen was, toasted. It only enhances the defense, but whether or not you can use it so late in the game because you've already had like a way that you're going to say it, but the truth doesn't lie. And if you go back and you look at the testimony of Jennifer McCabe and Matt McCabe, you have them by the ball sack. Jennifer McCabe is saying that she did not make the Google search at 227. She did not. That's 100% accurate. Then Jen McCabe says that she did make the 622 Google search because of Karen saying to Google it. This is where you then can prove that no, that Google search was not when you were in a vehicle and not when you were with Karen, because you're stationary with your watch on, right? Yeah. And you passed off your phone to your fucking fat fucking husband who was there and walked away to make a phone call first at 6:23 to Brian to say, because he was not home. He had left because he had to get his dog up out of there. And then the Google search right before the 6:23 call to Brian was the 6:22 Google searches, which were house law to die, because he had a first cover for that. And he knew that. You guys, people lie to their spouses every day. Lana, how will the defense use this in trial 2.0? I get it. It proves more lies, but we have Judge Canone. It's not about Judge Canone. It's about these people have to stick to the story that they've already said. Otherwise, it's perjury. So, Jen McCabe said that she made the 622 Google search. That's what you have to hone in on. Jen McCabe emphatically denied that she made the 227 Google search, which is accurate. Jennifer McCabe did not make the 227 Google search. That's true. But what the most important part here is that she told the jury that because of Karen Reed saying Google how long to die in the cold, that's why she did it. What you're going to be able to show is that you're going to have an expert take the stand and say, well, when this search happened, it was at 6:22 a.m. At 6:22 a.m., this was after the phone moved without the watch wearer moving for 5 minutes. And the person that would have Googled this had the phone, and it was not the watch wearer because the watch wearer didn't take any steps. Because the watch wearer, then you're going to show what do you call it? The dash cam that's going to show that you have Jen and Karen Reed together. Okay. and it's going to show a period of time together that if she's sitting down, she can't possibly physically be moving, just like the watch shows that she's not, but the phone shows that it is, and it shows, therefore, that somebody else, the evidence would show that somebody else has it. And during that period at 6:22, when that Google search happened, that Jen is testifying to Googling because of Karen Reed, it's then going to highly show that and suggest that no, that's impossible. And then where you're going to be able to stamp it is to show that when Jennifer McCabe goes inside that house and up a flight of stairs to go talk to her sister and brother-in-law, her watch goes upstairs, but the phone doesn't. And you just made a call to your so-called husband on, 10 seconds before you're about to go upstairs. So therefore, if the phone is truly with you, it would then went up a flight of stairs 10 seconds later. And this is how you want to explain to the jury through an expert that when you found out that Matt McCabe wanted to view the cruiser dash cam, why? And then you would ask Tully, well, what video did you show him and what timestamp did you show him? Because he wants to see this dash cam, because he wants to see when he's on camera to see when they caught him being at the scene. Okay. But Jackson and Yannetti, they never knew this during trial 1 because Tully kept the report from them. This just came out. So I think that what people aren't understanding is fuck the 227 Google search. The most important Google search here is that when Jennifer McCabe says that she Googles it at 6:22, she does not. Matt McCabe does. Just like Matt McCabe did at 2:27. That's why when she's able to say that she didn't make the Google search at 2:27, she can truly say that with a clean heart, and she'd probably pass every polygraph. But you got to ask her, did she make the 6:22 Google search? And she will fail that all day with a polygraph. So the reason she would ever be able to pass a polygraph for the 227 Google search is because she didn't make it. But ask her if she made the 6:22 Google search. And the answer is, during the trial, when Jackson said, well, what came up? She couldn't even answer what came up. And Jennifer McCabe lied for her husband. And a lot of people would lie for their husband. What do you think Matt's motive was? Matt saw, and Matt witnessed John O'Keefe die. It was a couple boys that were with it that witnessed all that. I put that out in my last video. Post the stream link again. Oh, here. Sorry, it should be there. I actually want people to tell me that the data is wrong. You'd have to watch the other lives, though. I mean, I'm not going to put it back out there. Why did Matt fight John? I didn't say Matt fought John. He was just there. Question. Did Matt tell Jen to take Karen to John's house first? He did not that he took. No, he didn't go with them because he needed to go do what he needed to go do. It was, I don't think it was like you need to take them like that. No, it was just like he didn't go with them for a reason, more or less. Yeah, no, it's not happening. Sorry, you had your opportunity. It was more just like it's like anything. You don't tell somebody, like you let them believe something else. Here, go with Karen and I'll go search as well. I'll go to wherever. You guys go here. You guys go there. And I'll meet you guys at I'll meet you at 34 Fairview type of thing. Go home, go take the house, whatever. And then I'll finish getting ready and I'll I'll call, Brian and blah, blah. Like, trust me, like, you don't include. Jennifer McCabe didn't have a clue until 6:47, man. So. Was Nicole always cleaning? I have no idea. I wasn't there. It's not. This is about the data. The data proves that the phone is moving and the phone and the watch isn't, which is the watch wearer. And no, she didn't take off her watch because then it moves like literally a couple minutes after the phone. And when the watch moves and the phone doesn't, like, this isn't just like, oh, well, it's because she took off her watch. No, guys, she tested. This is why it's impeachment material for round 2. She testified to wearing that motherfucker the whole night, sleeping with it. She's like, yeah, I slept with it. I always, that's why I was like, did she sleep with her watch? I had to wait till we got that information. Once we got that information, because we didn't have that, I always had the data, but I needed her to testify to that she wore that motherfucker. Once she said she wore that motherfucking watch to sleep, she's a dunzo. It's over. Curtains. It's like, gotcha. So it doesn't matter who Googled that. But when you want to ask the time frame that it was Matt. Also, Lana, people are asking about the sports Google search. Yeah, it doesn't. That was in that time frame. So it was, which makes sense. Don't you think the dad would be like, the Hakamat Google search, that's to see all the scores that would have happened that night. That's totally a dad search. I know, Lana, just throwing shit or stirring the pot. No, you guys can stir it all day. I'm saying that I'm asking about the data. The data shows that when Jennifer McCabe gets home and Matt McCabe gets home, the phone starts moving first for 13 seconds out of the car. Then Jennifer's watch starts moving. Then they're inside and on the first level for 9 minutes. I don't have Matt's data, so I can't say when Matt went up and downstairs, okay? But I can tell you that Jennifer McCabe goes upstairs at 2:23 and 10 seconds with her watch on her fucking tits. Goes upstairs. The phone does not go upstairs. Okay? In trial 1, they tried to say that she turned off her phone. Well, there's 2 problems there, ladies and gentlemen. If you turn off your phone, you can't Google stuff, can you, Jennifer? Number 1. Number 2, if you turn off your phone, how do you get a 4:53 a.m. phone call if your phone is off? You can't. Okay? Lally knew that he needed to get in front of the fact that the watch goes upstairs and the phone doesn't. And how they attempt to do that is by saying that the phone was shut off. How they will be able to get in front of that in trial 2 is to show that after she goes upstairs and stops moving for 9 minutes, during those 9 minutes, the phone moves 16 to 35 meters during that time frame. During that time frame, the phone is not off. And during that time frame, when the watch wearer is laying down and not moving, that's when at 2:27, because it's between 2:23 and 2:33, that the watch wearer is no longer moving, but the phone does move. And during that time frame at 2:25, there's text messages. At 2:26, there are 2 deletions of screenshots. And at 2:27 and 40 seconds, there's the infamous "house long to die in the cold." Those all happen during the time frame of when the watch wearer is upstairs on the second level, laying down, physically not moving, and while the phone, where the Google search is coming from, because that's the extraction from the Google of the phone, is on the first level being done when the phone is clearly on. Then at 4:53, when Kaylee calls, the phone is still on the first level. So how could that be answered by anybody in bed? Ding, ding, ding. It can't be. That phone was answered on the first level. That phone does not go upstairs to the second level until 5:32 a.m. when it moves in concert with then the watch wearer, because the watch wearer comes downstairs. And the phone does not register anytime that the phone is coming down a flight of stairs. It only registers when it's going up a flight of stairs. And at 5:32, the watch and the phone move in concert upstairs for the first time that it is registering going upstairs. And that would be when Karen Reed is in the driveway. Then they leave at 5:38 and head on over to One Meadows. Will you reach out to Turtle Boy or Defense about this? I've already reached out. They have it. They know it. The toothpaste back in Matt's tube. Sure. I'm late to the live, but I'm timing it. Yes, Anna, you are correct. Your watch is more accurate than your phone. And that's what they testified to. Do you guys remember what the testimony is? And you guys remember how Jennifer McCabe was saying that she was getting up and down and walking over and looking out the window and seeing things? Well, guess what? During the time frame that Jen McCabe says that she's doing this, the watch is not moving. Because so at first when you look at things, it would look like, oh, wait, that could kind of be true when she's saying that this could possibly be happening. Because I always associated, and so did everybody else, that when the phone's moving, it's Jennifer McCabe, okay? Then I had this bright idea. I was like, you know what? Fuck all this shit. I want to isolate this phone and this watch because something is just not mathing for me. And it was after trial one when I heard everybody just was fucking glued to the goddamn windows of a party. I said, who the fuck does that? Dude, if I'm at a party, I'm not looking out no windows. I'm like, I'm at a party. I've never in my life heard people just staring out windows at a party. I'm like, these motherfuckers must have been looking at something or they're lying, you know? So once you isolate the iPhone and the watch, then everything just pops off like a stripper on a Saturday night. So yeah, exactly, bowl cut. It sounds like the worst party ever. 100. You guys, Jen is a liar, but she's lying to cover for her fat fucking stuffed face beefcake husband. You guys aren't understanding why she's lying. Okay? Jen was friends with John. This is what never made sense to me is Jen had no reason. Jen's iPhone and watch do not register any steps from the night when she arrives at 34 Fairview. The first time that her watch registers any steps was when she's home and going upstairs to her bed. That bitch was tired as fuck. All right. She's drunk. She's whatever. All right. You guys are giving way too much credit for Jennifer McCabe thinking that she's this mastermind. All she is doing is being a puppet after the fact and covering for her fat fucking husband and their fucking bullshit. That's all that's happening. And it would make sense. It would 150% make sense. Jen McCabe is a cum rag, okay? She is nothing more than a cum rag. Ask fucking Brian Albert if I can make a t-shirt. For the amount of fucking, you guys are giving that broad way too much woo-woo. Take that to the bank. Raining men with a side of lies. Matt and Chris were still hanging at the bar and Jeff was watching. The only reason I want to be in your StreamYard is to give you props and ask you questions about your background. Well, I appreciate it. I just want to know how many times you guys wash your cum rags. They're like, oh my God, man, I can't believe you just said that. Well, that's what Jen McCabe is. Jen McCabe, for the rest of her life, has no fucking choice but to cover for that fat fuck. All right. You can't put shit back in the cow. Absolutely. I love that. Dude, they're donezo. You guys, listen to this. The testimony of Jennifer McCabe. Jennifer McCabe says, this is the damaging part. The jury has to hear Jen and Fat Matt say that Karen's psycho and Carrie Roberts saying that she's psycho. I fucking hate that more than anything. And so I was determined to find a way to prove that these people are talking out of their assholes. And so I found it. And how you can prove it is that Matt said that he was in bed. In bed. Okay? When he was awoken by Jen. Remember all that shit? Well, Matt, you said you slept in bed, and then all you're going to have is a expert to take the stand to say, okay, so where was Jennifer McCabe's phone at 4:53 a.m.? Well, by the data, it shows that it entered the residence of 12 Country Lane, and it remained on the first level until 5:38 a.m. Okay, so there's no way that Jennifer's phone could have been heard by Matt McCabe at 4:53 to Jen. Did you hear that testimony? Yeah, no, well, that could have been possible if Matt McCabe was on the first level. Well, have you ever seen their house? Yeah, I've seen a printout. Where's your bedroom? On the second level. Okay. What is the data indicative of? The data is indicative of that phone does not go upstairs until 5:38. Okay, so, or 5:32. So when Karen Reed would have called from her niece calling at 4:53, where was the phone? Well, based on the data, it shows the phone's on the first level. Okay, so Matt couldn't have heard that. No, not unless he was on the first level. So Matt testified that he was in bed. Yeah, no. Okay, and then how are you coming to that conclusion? Well, the night before when they arrived home, the watch goes upstairs at such and such time, and then as you can see here, the watch stops moving, and then a couple minutes after, or I should say 30 seconds after, the phone then begins to move without the watch wearer moving. And the phone didn't go upstairs with the watch wearer, so that would indicate that it was still on the first level. Okay, and then what? Well, and then at this time, it's a very crucial time point that the watch wearer is not moving. The phone continues to move for 36 meters. And during that time frame, it's at 2:27 and 40 seconds. During that time frame, when the watch wearer is not moving and the phone is moving, how long to die is Googled. So wait, the phone is moving and the watch wearer is not? Yep. And that was also after the watch wearer went upstairs without the phone. So the phone's moving without the watch wearer moving, and the watch wearer is upstairs and the phone's on the first level. That's correct. And so that's when the house long to die in the cold was Googled. Yes, at 2:27 and 40 seconds, which is when the phone was on the first level still. Okay, then what happens? Well, then at 2:32, the watch wearer moves for a matter of 30 to 40 seconds, which could be to go to the bathroom, which could be, they could actually come downstairs. But during that time frame, the phone is not moving. When does the phone move again? Well, you would have another movement happen from 3:50 until so 3:51 again from the iWatch wearer. And again, it's just for like 10 to 20 seconds. And it was for just, 13 meters. Again, indicative of getting up to go to the bathroom or something like that. And then the iWatch, then the phone moves at at 4:55 to 5:01. The phone moves without the Apple Watch moving, and then the Apple Watch moves at 5 o'clock. So are you sitting here telling the jury that the phone is moving before the watch wearer who owns the phone moves? Yes. At both times, at the 2:27 Google search and at the time that the phone would have been answered at 4:53, and then called for Julie Albert at 4:55. Yep, the iWatch wearer hadn't moved yet, but the phone did. Interesting. And then what happened then after that? Well, then the iWatch wearer only moved for a couple steps from 5 o'clock to 5:01. And they were stationary from 5:01 to 5:26 a.m. They didn't move anymore. Well, what was happening what about the phone? Well, yeah, the phone was moving from 5:01 to 5:26, and it was making phone calls. But the iWatch wasn't moving. The iWatch wearer, the Apple wearer, the watch wearer. Yeah, no, they weren't moving. Okay. So, in your expert opinion, how would this be possible? Well, the person that is wearing the watch isn't moving, but somebody that's within relatively close proximity of them has the phone and is moving and is controlling that phone. Okay. And then you heard the testimony that Jennifer McCabe went upstairs at the house when she went to One Meadows. That's correct. I heard that testimony from trial 1. I saw that. And that would be when you looked at the Jen McCabe's iWatch or Apple Watch data and or phone data. Is that indicative at between 5:39 and 6 a.m. Did Jennifer McCabe go up a flight of stairs? No, the phone is not indicative, or the iWatch did not go up a flight of stairs. So when Carrie Roberts testified that she went upstairs and saw that Jen McCabe was upstairs talking to Kaylee upstairs, you're saying that the iPhone nor the Apple Watch went upstairs between 5:40 a.m. and 6 a.m. Yeah, that's not indicative of the data. Neither one registered a flight of stairs. Okay. And then when is the next time that the phone or the watch goes up a flight of stairs? The phone does not go up a flight of stairs again until 11 a.m. But the iWatch, or Apple Watch rather, it goes up a flight of stairs at 6:35 a.m. and 50 seconds. Okay, so let's at 6:50 or 35 and 50 seconds. Where is Jen McCabe and her iWatch or Apple Watch located when she goes up a flight of stairs? Well, we so happen to have the dash cams associated with. They called 911 at 6:04, and we also have Jennifer McCabe's other phone calls that she made. She made a call at 6:04 to the police for 911. Then Jennifer McCabe made a 6:07 and a 6:08 phone call to her sister, during which, in between those calls, she then stored in her phone a number that she listed as Uncle Brian A. Then this is where we noticed that the phone and the watch are again doing what it did around the 2:27 a.m. time, which is the iWatch, the Apple Watch wearer stops moving, at 6:17 and 50 seconds. And she is stationary from 6:17 and 50 seconds to 6:26 and some seconds. And during that time frame when the Apple Watch wearer is stationary, the phone then starts moving at 6:17, and during 6:17 to 6:26, the iPhone without the watch wearer is moving, and during that time makes at 6:22, it takes the phone and it's moving. I'm presuming that it would be handed off in some capacity or picked up off like a table or something, but it's moving without the Apple Watch wearer moving. And at 6:22, the Google search "How Long to Die" back to back happens again. And then at 6:23, the phone calls Uncle Brian Albert. And those things all happen when the watch wearer is stationary and the iWatch is not. Or I'm sorry, and the iPhone is not. It had moved. Interesting. And then what happens? Well, then there's a bunch of steps that happen. But the biggest thing here is that at 6:35 and 10 seconds, the iPhone, Jennifer McCabe's iPhone, calls Matt McCabe's phone, and there's a 19-second call. So from 6:35 and 10 seconds to 6:35 and 29 seconds, there's a phone call between the two phones. After that, we would think that Jennifer McCabe would have had her phone on her, because her watch, within 10 seconds of hanging up that phone call, goes up a flight of stairs at her sister's house, but the iPhone doesn't. And so if she would have actually had the phone in her possession when she made the call to her husband, supposedly at 6:35, you would then expect the phone to go up the stairs with her and her watch when she went upstairs to her, at her sister's house, let her and her brother-in-law know that the police were there. But the phone doesn't go up the flight of stairs, only the iWatch does. Interesting. Interesting. So, at 6:17 and 50 seconds, you can show that Jennifer McCabe stops moving. Yes, based on her watch, she stops moving from 6:17 and 50 seconds in the morning, and she does not move again until 6:26 and some seconds. And why is that important? Well, because this is the time frame that Jennifer McCabe says that she's Google searching at 6:22, "How Long to Die," and that she does it at the request of your client. And why would that be important? Well, what we notice is that she's stationary at 6:17 a.m. and 50 seconds, and she stays stationary all the way until 6:26. But what's interesting is that her phone begins to move at 6:20 without her moving. And in order for her phone to move without her moving would mean that her phone's moving with somebody else having control of that phone. Because if she had her phone and it was moving, then her watch would be showing that it was moving. And this is important. Why? Well, when I watched the first trial and I heard that Jennifer McCabe said that she Googled "How Long to Die in the Cold" because Karen Reed asked her to, I found this troubling when I looked at the data because during that time frame, the data is indicative of Jennifer McCabe being in a stationary position, which would be in the back of a cop car staying warm, as she testified to, but her phone is not showing the same movements. Her phone during that time is walking, aka taking steps and being, transported in some capacity by somebody to re-registering steps when her watch is stationary during that duration. And so what the data suggests is that at 6:17 and 52 seconds, when she stops moving, she passed off her phone to somebody that was moving, and that person was the person that made the house long to die in the cold double Google search back to back. And even not only did they do that, but then at 6:23, there was a phone call made to Uncle Brian Albert. Interesting. So based on your research, is it your testimony here today that the phone was not with the iWatch when the Google house on a die happened? Absolutely. That's my testimony here today. And it's based off of the evidence. And then when I saw the report by Tully that was put in by Alan Jackson just this past weekend, and that Tully had a conversation with Jennifer and Matt McCabe, and Matt and Jennifer asked to see the the cruiser dash cam. They wanted to see the cruiser dash cam that had them on the surveillance of that dash cam. I thought that was very intriguing, as you wouldn't expect to see Matt, or why Matt McCabe would care to want to search the dash cam that had Matt McCabe on it. But if you would actually go back when Flamati is being questioned by Alan Jackson, hey, is this you in the still pictures? And Flamati's like, I don't know if that's me. I think that we really need to go back and check all the dash cams between the hours and times of 6:14 and 6:35 a.m. And I think that you are definitely going to see Matt McCabe, as Tully showed him and Jen were in the same still together as they asked. So Tully had showed them that. It's in a report. And the only way that you could have a phone moving without the watch wearer who owns the phone moving is if somebody else is moving that phone. And that's the same thing that happens at the 227 Google search. Any other questions? I like your passion. You nailed this. Well, thank you so much. I do appreciate that. TB is not a great data expert like Lana. Yeah, I'm all about data. And so, but Turtle Boy is correct. Jennifer McCabe's phone did the house on a die Google at 227 without a doubt. It also did the Google search at 622, but the actual user that made the Google search was Matt McCabe. So, and that's actually really, really more compelling, because it would go to show, when you want to talk about a cover up, and when you're able to say that somebody came to take your phone and made that Google search because they were trying to get in front of the fact that they realized that, oh shit, I used her phone to do the Google search because I never thought that her phone would ever be taken or be in a situation that, it could be taken, or, downloaded. That's why it was imperative for Matt to get that phone. That's why the first thing that Matt did when he did get her phone, it wasn't call Brian Higgins. He Googled it twice, and then, because the Google search was at 622, and then called the Brian Albert phone call to Uncle Brian Albert. That was at 6:23, and that was after the Google searches. But it's 100% provable that the phone starts moving after the iWatch wearer is stationary and sitting, and then the phone starts moving after the fact. And when I say after the fact, the iWatch wearer, Apple Watch wearer, stops moving at 6:17 and 50 seconds, and then the phone starts moving at 6:20, and without the watch moving. And that's just what's amazing about it. And nobody ever isolated the two. So when I did my first timeline, I always just assumed that the watch and the phone were being occupied by the same person, and never really honed in on isolating the two. And when you isolate the two, you can clearly see that that's not the case at all. And nobody's ever done it. And it's unfortunate that people are taking the data and taking the research that I've done and discrediting it because A, they don't like me, and B, because they think it's negative towards Karen Reed. And that just shows you how dumb they are, because A, it's way more positive for Karen Reed's case because it impeaches the fuck out of Matt and Jen. Like ridiculously for trial 2. And people that can't set aside their personal opinions about me for the truth should tell you everything about them and nothing about me. So suck on them titties. So Matt was the one walking up to 34 Fairview front door in the big puffy coat. Was Karen even aware he rolled up? I have no problem saying this, but Jen McCabe was used and abused until the point of we have to tell her what's going on because she has to start covering for us. Jen, the text message in the group chat, it was like she's just being a gossip girl. You know what I mean? But they started breaking Jen off on pieces. But Higgins and Matt McCabe, that's who I believe that Higgins is on the phone with. It's going to come out that Higgins is on the phone with either Matt McCabe's cell line or somebody in the like chief, you know. Girl, I've said to certain people over this situation, I've got your back. No personal opinion should be said. This is amazing work. Absolutely. And anybody that's going to say anything personal is a fucking idiot. Check the sock for dog hair. It's exactly what it was. I just care about Karen Reed's freedom. I think that Karen Reed's innocent. I think that you use the witnesses to show that everybody said the same thing, that the body wasn't on the lawn. I don't think you try to discredit these people. I think that you try to put credit in what they're saying, that nobody was on the front lawn. I don't think that you drowned out the jury by hearing all this other stuff. Like, go back and listen to Caitlin Albert's testimony. Listen to that cross-examination. Okay? None of that is necessary. I love these people. But if we've learned anything, like, listen, I got 3 questions for every single responder. Did you see a shoe there? Did you see a hat there? Did anybody hand you a phone? No, no, no. No more further questions. Next person that comes up. Did you see a hat there? Did you see a shoe there? Did anybody hand you a phone? No, no, no. To the witnesses, did you see a body on the lawn when you left? Nope. Did you see an SUV hit a person? Nope, nope. And you were there when? No more further questions. Next person. Did you see a body on the lawn? Did you see somebody hit a body? Did you see a hat? Did you see a shoe? Nope. No more further questions. You do that with every single one of their witnesses. Then you do that with all of the Canton Police Department people that were there using those fucking blowers and shit, okay? No. And then where you pow the whole conspiracy is with none other than when they found the shoe. You're going to show that the shoe is in the same spot that Mullaney cleared off and they took a picture of at 7:42 a.m. and that there was no shoe. And the only people that could be in possession of the shoe are civilians, not the police department. Then you're going to show the only person that could be in possession of taillight would be members at the Canton Police Department. And you're going to show the overlappage of the citizen and the Canton Police Department member, which is AKA Brian Higgins, okay, who was there and had swipages at 5:36 to then get that shit on over at 5:36 to then get that shit on over to the house by 5:45 and 5:49. That is it. There was nobody on the lawn between 12:30 and 2 a.m. And in order for Karen Reed to be guilty in any capacity, there has to be a body on the lawn. And there was nobody on the lawn. And John O'Keefe, who the victim of this case, he is unaccounted for from 12:30 until 6 o'clock in the morning. The Commonwealth has their victim unaccounted for from 12:30 until 6 a.m. All of their witnesses have him unaccounted for. Period. I don't care about revving it up, any of this shit, any of the spin cycles, blah, 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 blah. I don't care what calls the motherfucking bite. I don't care about his arm. I don't care about his gash. I don't care about shit. Because as a defense attorney, I don't got to prove that shit. The state has to prove that stuff. The Commonwealth has to prove that stuff. What I'm going to prove is that my client is in the motherfucking bed or her motherfucking couch at 12:36 a.m., motherfuckers. And it takes 6 to 7 to 8 minutes to get the fuck home from that point, which means that she has to leave at 12:28. And from 12:28 until 2 a.m., we got nothing but people coming and going like the goddamn strip club, and nobody sees a body on the lawn. We cannot discredit these fucking witnesses. We have to empower these witnesses. And you have to say, did you see a body on the lawn? No. And if you would have saw a body on the lawn, you would have helped him, right? Yes, I would have. Thank you. No more further motherfucking questions for your ass. Sit down. We don't need to talk about who they're friends with and who they sleep with and where they were going and why they decided not to leave and sleep over or anything like that. There is no time for that. We cannot lose the jury. If you want to ask those type of questions, man, go make a movie. You want to spend the time with your fucking expert to sit down in that chair and say, I want to talk about the movements of Jennifer McCabe's cell phone and her watch. Because Matt McCabe and Jennifer McCabe are destroying her between the hours of 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. And we can't have that. And we want to destroy Jen and Matt during 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. You want to know why? Or I'm sorry, 4:53 and 6:30. Because they are destroying your clients. your client. They're destroying her in what they are trying to say that she said. And we have a way to destroy that. I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Use Mulaney. He said he didn't hear that. Use Seraph. He said he didn't hear that. Okay. You're going to show that when Jennifer McCabe comes home, she has her her Apple Watch on. You're going to show it moving. You're going to show her phone moving. Then you're going to show that her phone stays on the first level and that her watch goes up to the second level without her phone. Then you're going to show that she gets up at 2 points to pee as she testified to in trial 1. You're going to show that in trial 1 that she testified that she slept with her watch on. And then you're going to show that at 4:53, when that phone call came in from Kaylee, that phone was still on the first level. And so therefore, Matt couldn't have been woken up out of bed saying, Jen, Jen, Jen. None of that is possible because the phone is on the first level still, because the phone doesn't go up to the second level until 5:32 a.m. And that is so unbelievably powerful because Matt wasn't in bed getting woken up out of a goddamn sleep. Okay. And what's even more powerful is that between 4:53 and 5:32, again, there is movements with the phone without the Apple Watch wearer moving. Indicative of somebody else having that phone in the beginning part of that. If in trial 1, he says that they're making coffee and shit like that. The iWatch wearer is not, Apple Watch wearer is not moving. She moves for all of 20 seconds. Okay. At 5 o'clock to 5:01. And then literally is stationary from 5:01 to 5:26. Then she takes her movements from 5:26 because presumably she goes downstairs, gets her phone, because then the phone and the watch in concert come back upstairs at 5:32 a.m., of which then Karen is now pulling up into their driveway. So none of this shit of none of that shit happened. Nobody got woken up out of bed. And so then you would ask the expert on the stand, so if somebody was to say that they were in bed and they got woken up to Jen, because Jen's phone answered it at 4:53, what would you say? I would say that they would have to be sleeping down on the couch because that's where the phone is to be able to hear that. Not in a bed because the phone didn't go upstairs yet. No, well, isn't it possible that it just couldn't have registered a flight of stairs? I mean, I guess that's possible, right? But the iWatch wearer goes upstairs at 2:23 a.m. and the phone doesn't. Well, couldn't the phone been turned off? No, because the phone then starts making movements without the iWatch wearer at 2:23 and 50 seconds. And it's moving around from 2:23 until 2:31. And what happens during those time frames when the iWatch wearer is upstairs and the iPhone is still on the first level? During those time frames of 2:23 and 2:31, Let's see. We have text messages in a group message. We have some Googling going on. We have deletions going on. And then we have the 227 house on a die. So the house on a die Google search at 227 happens when the phone's on the first level. Absolutely. And that was after the iWatch wearer goes upstairs. Absolutely. Well, how do you know the iWatch wearer doesn't come back downstairs? Because when the iWatch wearer goes upstairs and they complete the steps, then the phone is indicative of that once it goes upstairs, the steps that are associated with it end there as well. What do you mean? Well, because they stop moving at 2:23 and let's say 10 seconds. It says it stops. Then the phone starts moving at 2:23 and 30 seconds. So 20 seconds after the phone stops moving, then at 2:23, the phone starts moving. This was 20 seconds after the watch stopped moving. And then it made a couple steps here and a couple steps there. And then at 2:25, we have a Google search. At 2:25, we have a text message. We have some deletions. And then we have at 2:27 and 40 seconds, the house long to die Google search. And this is all happening after the iWatch wearer has been stationary and hasn't been moving. That's correct. Okay. You can 100% answer calls and texts from your Apple Watch, 100%. But the information that we've extracted is coming from the phone extraction. And the only thing that we've extracted from the Apple Watch was the heart rate and the steps. So everything that we've extracted as far as Google, texts, and phone calls, those are all coming from the phone. So if somebody was to say to you, Lana, could somebody answer a phone call from an iWatch? Absolutely, yes, they can. Can somebody text from an iWatch? Yes, they can. But with your extraction that you have here in front of you in your data, the stuff that you have here, what's the data show? This is all from the extraction of the phone. So we've never extracted the data from the iWatch specifically or the Apple Watch specifically. We extracted the data from the phone. The iWatch had an app on the phone. So from the app, we extracted then the movements, which is the steps, the heart rate. But the actual phone is where we extracted the data to show the calls, the texts, all of those inputs are coming from the phone. So when we say that the iWatch wearer, she comes home and here we have the phone kind of moving and the iWatch person moving. So, okay, can you kind of say that they're together? Sure. But then we have the iWatch wearer goes up a flight of stairs, but the phone doesn't. So at 2:23, so they get home at 2:13, they're on the first level. Both the phone and the watch are on the first level from 2:13 until 2:23. At 2:23 and 10 seconds, the person that's wearing the watch, which is Jen McCabe, she goes up a flight of stairs. Okay. And when she goes up a flight of stairs, what we've normally seen in the past, and we can show it to you that it happens with her and her device often, which is when she goes up a flight of stairs, her watch registers it as well as her phone because she has her phone on her and she's wearing her watch. So it registers. In this situation, at 2:23 and 10 seconds, when she goes up a flight of stairs with her watch on, the phone does not go. 20 seconds after the watch stops moving upstairs, the phone then begins to take steps. And the phone takes steps from 2:23 until 2:32. During of which that time, the watch never moves during that time. So the person that's taking the steps during that time can't be wearing the watch. During that significant point of time, the person that has the phone text messages in a group app at 2:25. Then first of all, they unlock the phone. They're able to unlock the phone so they know the passcode. Once that happens, it stays in an unlocked position from 2:23 and 50 seconds until 2:31 and 10 seconds. So during the unlocked position of the phone, the person that has the phone takes a couple steps here and there without the watch person moving. And the phone hasn't gone upstairs yet. And then during that point of time, like I said, at 2:25, Richard Green found that there were a couple text messages in a group app. There was some Googling about Hakamaka Sports. Then there was some deletions. And then at 2:27 and 40 seconds, which is the biggest revelation, is during that time when the iWatch wearer is upstairs and not moving at 2:27 and 40 seconds on the first level where the iPhone is and in the hands of a user that does not seem to be the iWatch wearer or Apple Watch wearer, 2:27 and 40 seconds, the infamous how slow to die in the cold happens. And then a couple steps happen, like I said, after that, because at 2:31, the steps continue up until that point. Again, the Apple Watch wearer is not moving during that time, which is all indicative of it's impossible to move a phone if you're the watch wearer and not move your watch. Okay. And then there would be no movement from either the phone nor the watch from, I think it's 2:40 to, all the way up until 3:50, where at 3:50 a.m., the iWatch or Apple Watch wearer makes some movements. And then again, like I said, at 3:50 that happened. And then the next movement of the iPhone happens before the Apple Watch at 5 a.m. But there was a phone call that was answered at 4:53, and the phone's still on the first level because it still hasn't registered going upstairs. So anybody that's saying that they were in bed at 4:53 hearing Jen, that's not indicative of the phone being upstairs. So I don't know how that happened. Thank you there, Chicken Parm, becoming a member. Whoop, whoop. It all comes back to the data, guys. It's just about the data. There you go. Mediocre Chicken Parm. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I'll talk to him blue in the face. Lana Brains, do we know how the phone was unlocked? Yeah, just a passcode. Passcode. You guys, like anything, like your significant other in usually untrusting relationships, you have like they know your passcode. Even in trusting relationships, they know your passcode. Do we think planted John Singers? Who do we think? Well, that was 100% either Higgins or Matt McCabe. 100. You guys, all I'm trying to focus on is to show you guys that it's data. It's data to show that if it would be one little, okay. But to see that the 2:27 Google search, that the phone is moving prior to that, but the iWatch wearer, the watch person went upstairs, but the phone never did. Okay. So she goes upstairs And then 30 seconds after, it's like, okay, here, somebody goes and grabs the phone out of like a drawer that they put it in when they came in. And, or even if Jen had it, like there's nothing wrong with saying that Jen had her phone on the first level and then leaves it down there. You know, a lot of people charge their phones and leave it on the first level because there's nothing, you know, it is what it is. Like everybody knows that people do that. They go up the stairs to their room, blah, blah. But it's 100% proven that the phone does not go upstairs that night. So the phone is not in their bedroom when this so-called call happens at 4:53, where Matt McCabe makes a goddamn scene in that courtroom and is saying that all of this shit transpired. He's the one that says, wait a second, that's not, she's full of shit or she's crazy. I saw them arrive. You know, they came there. Matt McCabe's testimony, when you break it down, is very, very important. I saw her arrive at 34 Fairview. And he's making it seem like he hears, because this is all after the fact. They're making a story after the fact. But if we can prove, and in fact, that he could have never heard this phone call from his bedroom like he claims, then you're going to put doubt in the jury's mind that this ever happened the way that he is saying it happened, because it didn't. It didn't happen that way. It never happened that way because it's not the truth. Karen Reed didn't call Jen and saying, Jen. Okay? This is to make Karen Reed look like a goddamn crazy nutbag. It just didn't happen. Because the phone was on the goddamn first level. So Matt's fucking fat ass wasn't woken up in no goddamn bed that he slept in that night. You could have been woken up if you were on that goddamn couch like you were all night because the fucking shit you and Higgins were up to. But you were not sleeping in your room like everything was great that night. You were sleeping, even if you were sleeping, and I don't believe that you were, you would have been on a couch. And now the question is why did you sleep on the couch? And this is where you're going to impeach people from they cannot move off of their testimony from trial one. So you're going to be able to say, Mr. McCabe, you were here last time. You had a trial before, right? And you said you went to bed and you and your wife went to bed in bed and she was sleeping right next to you when she got that phone call that she answered at 4:53 right off the rip. Do you recall that testimony? Yeah, I do. And you said that in the grand jury, right? Yeah. Okay. You said that she answered her phone and that she hung up her phone, right? It was all with her phone. Isn't that correct? Yep. Are you sure that that phone wasn't on the first level? Let him say whatever. Are you sure you didn't sleep on the couch that night? You have to resell it to the jury of what he said in trial one, because the jury doesn't know what happened in trial one. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on the jury. So you have to tell the jury what he said in trial one. Then you have to ask him things like, and you're sure that you were sleeping in your bed and your bedroom is on the second level. Is that correct? So if you were to go from getting home and going upstairs, you'd have to register a flight of stairs if you had your phone, right? You would expect that, they may object to that, but you want to sell it to the jury, everything he said in trial one. Then you're going to bring your expert up there to say, we asked you to look over a cell phone and a watch and to map the data from those two devices that belong to Jennifer McCabe. Is that correct? Yes, that's what she asked me to do. And we really wanted you to hone in on the night of 129 and then the morning of 129. And when you did that, we asked you to isolate the iWatch and the phone because we wanted to know if there was a way that you could tell if the watch and the phone were being operated by the same person? How could you determine that? Was there a way to determine that? During the course of this case, it has been said that my client called Jennifer McCabe at this time, and there were things that were associated that my client said by individuals that were at 12 Country Lane, Jennifer McCabe's house, Jennifer McCabe's phone, and they were able to overhear things due to these phone calls. Is there any way that during your investigation you were able to determine if Jennifer McCabe's iWatch, Apple Watch, where it was located and vice versa with the cell phone as well? What does the data show? So if somebody was in a bedroom upstairs, Matt McCabe says he's up in a bedroom, and he said that he was awoken to hearing a phone call and answered by his wife at 4:53 a.m. What were your findings? Well, I would struggle with that. I would struggle to think that he could have heard a phone being answered, because the phone doesn't seem like it went upstairs until 5:32 a.m. Interesting. So how did you determine, where do you struggle with that? Well, when they got home at 2:13 a.m., both devices do register as being at 12 Country Lane at 2:13 a.m. The only thing that I see here is at 2:13 a.m., both devices are on the first level up until 2:23 a.m., where the iWatch / whatever you want to call it, the Apple Watch, it goes up a flight of stairs, and the phone doesn't. And the phone doesn't go up a flight of stairs for the first time until 5:32 a.m., when it moves in concert with the iPhone at 5:32. So the first time that this phone seems to go upstairs to be in a bedroom that could be heard by somebody would be 5:32 a.m. So if Matt McCabe testified in trial 1, because I had you look over those transcripts, and he said that at 4:53, he said just a little bit before 5 o'clock, he was woken up to Chad out of a dead sleep out of his bedroom that was located on the second floor. Would you quarrel with that? Well, absolutely, I would quarrel with that. And why is that? Because the phone is not indicative of being upstairs. The phone is indicative of being on the first level. Okay. Yeah, so if somebody said that they were to answer a phone, they would have had to be on the first level from the information that we have here with the devices. Is there anything else that you found odd between 2:23 and 5 o'clock in the morning? Well, yeah, you asked me to look at if there was a way to tell who made the Google search for House Long to Die at 2:27. So what I was able to determine is that at 2:23, when the when the iWatch goes upstairs, the iWatch wearer, it registers a flight of stairs. I noticed that the phone did not go with it. The iWatch wearer stops moving. And then 20 seconds later, without the watch moving, and what you would see normally first on a person, that their watch usually moves first, or at least it's showing in concert. That didn't happen. What I noticed is that the phone begins to move 30 seconds after the watch stops. And normally what that could be consistent with is if you said to somebody, hey, honey, can you grab me my phone? And then they bring it over to you. And then that somebody could be using it from like their bed or something like that. But what I noticed with this is that the honey that went upstairs, if I was to say to you, hey, honey, bring up my phone, I left it downstairs, then at some point I would expect then the phone to then elevate one floor up, just like I just moved one floor up. But that's not the case. in this case, the phone, the iWatch and Apple Watch is up on the second level, and the phone then begins to move 20 seconds after the watch stops moving. And so during the time frame of 2:23 and some change to 2:31 and some change, that's the time frame that the phone is moving and the iWatch wearer is not. But what's big during that time frame of 2:23 a.m. and 2:31 a.m., there was very significant, whoever was using the phone had unlocked it, kept it in an unlocked position during that entire time, and made deletions, made Google searches, text message, and then most importantly, I found your 2:27 and 40-second Google search, how slow to die in the cold. And so you're saying that that happened at 2:27, 40 seconds on the first level. Yes, that is what the data shows. And that would be without the user of the iWatch wearer, because in order for the iWatch wearer to have made that Google search, they would have had to come downstairs, but they never move after the 2:23 and 40 or 50 seconds. And then 20 seconds will then have it, goes by, and then the phone begins to move. And the phone never goes upstairs. And the reason that I believe that the person that was wearing the watch couldn't have just went upstairs and took off their watch to come back downstairs is because the watch begins to move 2 minutes after the iPhone stops moving, which is indicative of that person still actually had the watch on. And then you gave me the transcripts, which the person testified to that they wore their watch and they slept with it at night. So is there any doubt in your mind that the 2:27 a.m. search happened on the first level? There's no doubt in my mind. And the only way that the person that went upstairs with the watch could have made that search is a 1% chance that they would have taken off the watch to then come downstairs, do a Google search really, really quick, then go back upstairs, put the watch back on to then start taking steps. That's what that would mean. Okay. And then, so is it your opinion that the person that made the Google search, not the iWatch wearer? Yes, that's my opinion based off of the data. And then when I found out that you said there was another Google search of the same language, I then asked you to give me the data again so that I could take a look at the movements of the phone versus the watch then around that time frame. And what I was able to do is isolate and look at the watch wearer is taking steps from 6:04 or 6:03 rather, when she gets out of the vehicle, finds John O'Keefe, comes back to the car. Then she makes the 911 call at almost 6:04 a.m. Then the iPhone and watch do have movements as it was together. Then it comes to a point where it's at 6:17 and 50 seconds. The iWatch wearer, Apple Watch wearer, she stops moving at 6:17 and 50 seconds for 3 minutes. Then the phone starts moving at 6:20 without the watch wearer moving, because the only thing that moves at 6:20 is the phone. And this was the time period that you wanted me to look at, because what was very interesting, and I kind of couldn't believe, it was, again, it's like the same thing happens. The phone starts moving without the watch wearer. So it was like the phone was passed off in a way. And the phone is, first of all, at 6:22, it Googles how slow to die, and it messes up the way that it does it. And then it Googles again how slow to die, now the correct way, or I should say the way that it was Googled the night before at 2:27. That all happens between 6:22 to 6:22 and some odd seconds, to then the next thing that the person that had the phone that took steps without the watch wearer moving and taking steps was at 6:23. the person that had the phone then calls the Uncle Brian Albert number, and that person doesn't answer, but it was a call at 6:23. Again, steps are being made when the iWatch or Apple Watch wearer is not making steps, and this was at a time frame that was said that Jennifer McCabe, who's the watch wearer, said that they Googled how long to die in the cold because Karen Reed said to do it. I struggle with this because the phone isn't stationary, as Jennifer McCabe testified to. She testified that she did it because Karen Reed, told her to. Well, the watch wearer isn't in control of the phone at that point because the watch wearer has been stationary for a good 6 minutes, but the person that actually has the phone has been moving. And so therefore that is not in, that doesn't add up. The math ain't mathin', as Higgins would say. And then the other part that's really indicative of the fact that the iWatch and Apple Watch wearer, Jennifer McCabe, doesn't have her cell phone is because at 6:35, I then looked at some movement around 6:35 when she, or the person that had the phone, makes a phone call to Matt McCabe's number. And they have this interaction for 19 seconds at 6:35. What I was able to do, though, is see that I paid attention to Jennifer's watch, and Jennifer's watch would go up a flight of stairs 10 seconds after that call was completed. And the phone wouldn't. Again, indicative of the night before, where she goes up a flight of stairs and the phone didn't. So it's telling me that when the iWatch or Apple Watch wearer is moving at certain times, the person that has the phone could not be the Apple Watch wearer because it would register the flight of stairs, and it doesn't. So how did Jen call 911? Because Jen had her phone at 6:03. You guys, the phone was passed off at between 6:17. It was passed off at 6:20 a.m. So Jen had her phone. Matt McCabe is on scene. Jen McCabe makes all those things. Matt McCabe goes there because he says he's going to meet her there. Matt McCabe does not ride with Jen McCabe for a reason. Not that he tells Jen why. He just says, okay, you go deal with her. I'll get ready and I'll come out and I'll meet you guys. I'll go looking for him as well. I'm going to call so-and-so. And he's acting like to Jen that he's going to go do all these things, that he's just whatever. But I don't understand how people don't get this. Jen McCabe made the 911 call from her phone. Absolutely, she made her call from her phone. Matt McCabe comes on scene way earlier than Matt McCabe says he did. And then try to cover up when he really truly came. Because he then had Jen's phone and was making the calls to cover it all up. Apple Watches are very, very accurate with going up and down flights of stairs. This is 100% doubt. Yep. I certainly hope the defense are looking at your hard work. For Matt is definitely in this. Oh, Matt and Higgins did this. Matt and Higgins, you need two people here. You have an IT guy and you have the guy that has access to the Canton Police Department. So he's registering all those swipes. That's what he was doing. Yeah, Matt's a piece of shit. The only person's data that you need is you need Matt's CDRs. Matt will, this is the reason, you guys, the reason that Matt made the Google searches on, or I should say the Google search on Jen's phone, is because Matt never thought that Jen's phone would ever be subject to anything. Matt knew that he was with John that night because they all went to a different location together. Him, Higgins, Brian, Matt, Chloe, they all went to a different location. That's why Matt McCabe used Jen's phone to Google shit. Matt's also just he's bitch tits. Lana Brains. When Karen called, explain what happened with the phone and watch, please. People are asking, and I don't want to miss. I don't know when Karen called. I don't know. When Karen just called in the morning at 4:53, it was the only person's story that we've ever heard from this is Matt and Jen's, and their story is a fucking bunch of lies. Okay. I don't know what else to say about that. When Karen called Jen, yes, ma'am. It just called. It was from Kaylee's phone at 4:53. Yeah, Gossip Girl inserted himself. It just, you guys, there's people that end up helping after the fact. What's the name of the IT company he's involved with? I don't know. How did you get the geofence information? I didn't get the geofence information from Motion 66. I got the data from the phones of Jen and John. Why doesn't Karen stand up and say, no way? No way to what? Lana, my only question is, does the data state whether or not the watch is taken off or put on? This is where we don't even need it to do that. Jennifer McCabe testified at trial 1 that she slept with her watch on. So she didn't take it off and she slept with it on. She said that she may have gotten up to go to the bathroom. She said that it's normal for her to sleep with her watch on. Some nights she does, some nights she doesn't, but we got it from trial 1 that she slept with her watch on, which is very, very important. Fine on that, but is that data available or not? What data? Everything is coming from her watch data. Truth and transparency. Lana, are you going on the Dedham Superior Court and give Auntie Bev a smackdown? You guys, I can't emphasize this enough, okay? Let's say me and you date, all right? Me and you are married, and I'm sorry, but if I'm doing whatever I'm doing with whatever I'm doing, I'm not telling you about it. So Jennifer McCabe was in the dark until Jennifer McCabe needed to be brought into the light. And then she had to start covering for her fucking ex or her husband. Lana, hey, Lana, just feel odd not seeing you in a couple of days. I'm right here. The metadata of all watch activities like charging, power on, power off. They should have that. Yeah. Yeah. Nobody's ever looked at it from this vantage point. And there's never been a reason to. The only reason I did it, I'll tell you why I did it. I did it because when I first did my timeline, I noticed that there was way more. I was just chalking it up as that the accuracy was off, but I noticed that there was way more steps. Like, if I'm taking steps with my watch and my phone together, it should be very close to like if I took 52 steps between this time and this time. If my watch is saying 52 and my phone is saying 50. Okay, like, that's margin of error. Awesome. But what I always thought back in the day, and I knew that I had it, it was just that shit was off. It was like during this period of time, it was the watch had X amount of steps and the phone had way more steps. And there's time that you can just write that off as like a little bit of margin of error. But the thing that you can never write off is, okay, I have a watch on me. Okay. And that shit is way more, and when I did my timeline, you guys, that was before the trial. So when I heard Jennifer McCabe testify, and it was straight up asked by Lally, did you wear your watch and all this stuff to bed? And I'm going to play it here because it's really, really powerful. Her testimony with a couple of these things. And just, you have to, like, they cannot change when people say like, oh, Lana, why are you putting this out there? They're going to change their story. That just tells me whoever is saying those things, that tells me that they don't know shit about law in the courtroom and how things work. You can't go and change your story. You're under oath. That's your testimony. They are married to what they said in trial 1. Okay. That's why the defense has a huge advantage here if they were to take what I'm saying and give it to Richard Green, and Richard Green says, holy shit, yeah, actually look at this shit. That phone never does go upstairs based on the data. And that phone, at 227, that phone's still on the ground level, but the watch is upstairs. And then, 30 seconds later, and these steps are being made, but there's no watch being, wow, yeah. And then, wow. And then that's when the Google search is, holy fucking shit. Because all Richard Green and them were doing was looking at, like, here, they're not looking at, they weren't putting together a timeline. They were just taking the extraction and digging through what was going on in the back of the phone. Like, somebody Googled this, because remember, they deleted this shit. And what I'm trying to say is, okay, you guys found the Google, but the Googler, you're wrong. It's not Jen. And it actually helps like a motherfucker that it's not Jen, because why would Matt McCabe ever take Jen's phone and Google that? It's because Matt McCabe was trying to hide it on his phone. So he used her phone because he thought that his phone, there wasn't going to be this potential of his phone getting taken because of the fact that he was the last one with John fucking, okay. He was the last one with him. And that makes all the sense in the world to me. And then for his ass to show up at the crime scene, keeps it under wraps of when he gets there, right? They all lie about that. Then takes her phone because he acts like he doesn't have his phone, or, oh, it's back in the SUV. And let me see. I'll call. Fine, here, give me your phone. I'll call Brian. Like, playing motherfucking dumb. But the first thing he does when he gets Jen's phone is he fucking re-Googles the shit that he Googled the night before, because he talked to Higgins, and him and Higgins were saying, hey, we got to cover our trip. I mean, what did you do? Did you Google anything? What'd you do? Did you call anybody? Who'd you call? Who'd you text? What'd you do? You need to go get that phone, because if they get that phone, they download that fucking shit. So that's the type of talks that were happening. And sure as shit. So you have to ask yourself, it's way worse that it would be Matt using Jen's phone, because that's like 90 times worse, because you're covering your tracks. You're covering them at 227, man. And then he's trying to overwrite it. He's trying to, you think that dumbass hoe is thinking about that shit? Get the fuck up out of here, man. And I'm pissed that Alan Jackson didn't fucking realize that shit. Do you think Jen, then you Googled it to try to cover for the fact that you did it. I went and listened to the whole goddamn, and I'm just like, Alan Jackson, come on, man. You were smart as fuck. You think that broad did that shit? The fuck out of here. That broad, you think that, no, that broad didn't do that. That broad had no idea what was going on. She's a cum rag. Fuck her. House long is my titties, bitch, in your motherfucking mouth. Fuck her. She's dumb as fuck. Matt McCabe Googled that shit, used his wife's phone to do it, then was at the scene. John's phone starts moving when Fatty Matty shows the fuck up. These people are disgusting. These people are sick. But these women, they ain't calling the shots in Canton. I'll tell you that right now. Fuck them. You like that? Figured you like that. Somebody would like it. Come on, I love it. It's the truth. You know what's great is to see that fat ass when Turtle Boy shoves cameras in his wife's face about how slow to die, and he's saying she didn't do it. She didn't do it. She didn't do it. You did. You know, I want Turtle Boy to shove a camera in that fat fuck's face again and say, I know she didn't do it. You've let your wife take the heat from the nation. What a pussy. What a pussy. Start calling him Puss Platter McCabe. What a loafer puss. That's all I got to say. Loafing puss. The dog bites come in because Brian Albert had the dog with him. They all left 34 Ferry to go somewhere else, and that's where shit went absolute fucking haywire. Haywire. Shit went haywire when they all left. Brian Albert took Chloe in his stupid little Escapade or whatever the fuck he drives, little pussmobile. And Higgins had his Jeep, and Matt McCabe had John O'Keefe in his SUV when they all went to where they were going to get whatever they were getting. But the point was why they wanted John involved is because Brian had little Chloe with him, because Chloe goes everywhere where Brian goes to like be like, you know, that's my dog. Like my dog's my scare tactic / protection. And I'm about to shake you down. And I don't need to talk. I'm going to let you know, listen, you're going to leave my godson out of this shit you're doing with reporting him or whatever. Like, this is my town. Canton's my town. And we get it. Awesome. You're taking care of your brother's kids and all that stuff, but you're going to leave our shit the fuck alone. You know? And so it was supposed to just be like that. Plus they're also picking something up that they're getting. And then Higgins is running his mouth. Matt McCabe is like, oh my God. You know, it's all just like, listen, John, worry about your own home because your girl is slob knobbing on fucking Higgins's dick. Okay. And that's then what sent it into a fucking spiral. But what ends up happening is Brian Higgins fucking takes a swing and they're fighting. John gets hit to the point when he falls back. He hits his back of his head on the edge of the plow, which gashes the fuck out of it, knocks him out. But when this little rumble in the jungle was happening, Chloe's there and Chloe fucking jumps out of fucking Brian's, you know, is holding the dog, jumps out and kind of gets onto, you know, scratching at John's shit. And Brian knew that he had to get his dog off of, you know, whatever, O'Keefe, but we all know that those wounds are superficial. Like, I mean, they didn't do anything. Like, those weren't the cause of his death or anything like that. But that would link him. And that's why Jen McCabe, when she called and asked her sister, like, hey, get Brian, the cops are coming here. Like, we're over here at your house. Brian's not here. Wait, what? Yeah, Brian, I don't know. Chloe's not in here either. So then she calls back, and that's when the sister gives up the phone number because she's like, I don't have it. I don't have the number. What's his number? Because sister's like, here, call him. He's not in bed. which makes all the sense in the world when you look at the driveway and you look at the pictures. There's only 2 vehicles, and you need to have way more than that. You have Brian Jr., you have the wifey poos, you have Brian Sr.'s, and then you have Brian Sr.'s work vehicle. There's 4 cars that should be there. Where the fuck are these vehicles? And the only reason that you would be giving your sister your husband's cell phone number is because she's like, I don't have it. Okay. And she never had a chance to call because then the police arrived like literally right after they're at 6:09. And you just watch the dash cam because it's true. But Chloe wasn't there because Maddie felt fatty, but Batty called. And the reason that Maddie and Higgins put fucking John O'Keefe on the lawn is for an insurance piece. So I firmly believe John did mention this shit to Karen in the drive there. That's if he caught into what Higgins was up to. Dude, at 12:20 when Higgins texted him, where you at? Why would he write where you at? Well, because at 12:18 and 52 seconds, the phone call started. And then here's Fatty Babaddy Maddie saying John's lost. Well, no, that's not what he was saying. He went to the place y'all were supposed to meet up at. That's why I want everybody to back up the ways. I don't love you like I love you, no way. See where that actually started. And I want to know who lived right around where the whole ways started. Because I believe that Karen and them went to originally where, like when John says where to, if I'm going where to, I would never write where to if I know that I'm going to Brian Higgins' house. I just don't, or Brian Albert's house. I just don't have his address. I would say, what's Albert's address? I wouldn't say where to, because I mean, that's just not the conversation. That's just not how anybody would text that. Yeah. Lana is the chat GPT. I'm just answering all your questions, just ripping them out. There's no, John didn't mention this on the drive to 34 Fairview. He would have been amped up. Amped up for what? Why would John be amped up? I don't know what he would be amped up about. In fact, my husband would have said something to me about what? I don't know what anybody would be amped up about. But the whole Higgins texting at 12:20, they're both in the driveway. Higgins is in the driveway, and so is Fatty Maddie. And so you're going to sit here and tell me the 2 guys that say, well, first of all, Fatty Maddie says, I saw them arrive in his direct testimony, which I think is awesome. Like, what a fucking moron. He just missed the plot. And then Higgins is like, it's just not mathing. The math ain't mathing. Like, they didn't show up. Really, because in the driveway, while you're standing there next to Fatty Batty Momati, he says that he saw them arrive. So go get your shit. It's just, this is going to be just great. Like, trial 2.0 is going to be great. Did Matt delete Brian's contact so Jen couldn't call him, or so Karen? The reason that Brian Albert then had to be around, you guys, is because Brian Albert had to be around to say, these assholes, I told them at 2:22 because I know what happened, but I just told them to take care of their shit. Like, you guys take care of it's your problem. You guys wanted to rumble, in the jungle, like, take care of your problem. Well, they dumped the problem on Brian fucking Albert's lawn. All right. Because clearly John O'Keefe was not there when all these other people left. I'm sorry, but I don't think that you're going to get all these people to say that there was nobody on the lawn. I'm sorry. And the jury's not going to believe that. But you need to play it to your advantage to say that, don't make it seem like all these people were told to shut the fuck up. It's just everybody is saying that there's no person on the lawn. And that would mean that Karen didn't run anybody over, period. But they dumped John on that lawn where Matt was the only person that is saying where this vehicle was. If you think about it all, you have, listen to this. Listen to how fucking crazy this is. You have both Albert bitches, Julie, not Julie, but Nicole and Brian, none of them are saying that they're watching out the window like a watchdog where this vehicle's moving, right? It's Matt and fucking Jen are saying, yeah, they thought the vehicle keep moving up and up and up and up and up and up, fucking like a balloon, like fucking idiots. And then where does the body end up? Where Matt and Jen say the car was. The only motherfucking people that are saying where this car was is Matt and motherfucking Jen. Brian and his wife and his daughter and his son and all these other people. Here, the body gets dumped right where Matt and Jen want to testify to where this vehicle was last time that they saw it. Okay? Get the fuck out of here. Like, so start zoning in on Matt and Jen. Matt had Jen adopt his version of events. And why Matt ever said that, oh yeah, I saw them arrive, it was 12:45, and that's when Jen said the same thing. Well, guess what? That blew up royally in their faces because Karen's already home, long been home since 12:37, 12:36. Matt fed the entire story to his fucking lisp bride. Period. Matt put his hand and shoved TB at the bleachers. Yeah, well, because Matt has a cum rag for a wife. That's why. Just take it to the bank. I'm telling you guys right now, Jen McCabe did not Google that shit. Not at all. Not 1 second of her Googled that. Any of it. I wouldn't. Why would you? Why? She's all like, the data doesn't back it up. And she's a moron. She said she didn't Google the 227. That's correct. She lies when she says that she Googled the 622 because she did it because your client told me to. Alan Jackson, watch. Let's watch a little piece of this. I have it all lined up for us. Here we go. Jen McCabe. Bring it on down, Jenny. Where you at, Jenny? And I know they're all watching. I would be watching too. They're like, fuck, this bitch caught us. Jen. Jennifer McCabe. Testimony. There she is. There's our girl. Jen.
Okay, so you're pointing to an area just in front of a car that's in the driveway, correct?
Yes.
And then the driveway is to the right,
Yes.
and along this line is the front lawn area and property line of 34th Fairview, correct?
Yes.
You indicated that that Jeep was just a little bit in front of the mailbox, meaning about there, correct?
Yes. The vehicle outside.
And where was
Here we go.
that? That in fact, story, correct?
Correct.
Your observations of the night.
Correct.
And they told you their observations of the night, correct?
Correct.
So y'all have compared and contrasted your perspectives of what happened that night, correct?
We've tried to figure out what happened to John, our friend.
And you've talked to them extensively about your observations and what your story or your version is. Is that right?
To be honest, not extensively. Speaking about it is very painful and difficult.
What does extensively mean? More than twice?
Well, you tell me.
I'm asking the questions, Ms. McCabe. That's how this works.
I understand, but extensively would mean almost every day.
Do you talk to them almost every day?
I do, but not about the case.
Subjects about this case come up every day?
The harassment of the case does, yes.
What about the specific facts of the case? Ms.
No,
McCabe?
it's the facts aren't spoken as much as the vicious harassment is spoken about.
So you've told them your version of the events, correct? And they've told you their version of the events.
Correct.
And
Look at
remind me,
her.
Chris and Julie Albert are, in fact, Colin's parents.
Correct.
At some point, you became aware that your daughter, Allie, was involved in this matter to some extent, correct?
Yes.
You became aware that there was an extraction of your phone that revealed some data about your whereabouts.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
That's not how I became aware now.
360?
Yes, I know what that is.
That's what I'm asking about.
Mhm.
You became aware that you know your phone was extracted, correct?
I willingly handed over my phone.
Yeah, girl.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to get
Your
into
phone
that.
was extracted.
Yes, I handed it over.
And you know that your daughter's whereabouts were revealed based on data on that phone, correct?
That is not how I became aware
Okay.
of my daughter's whereabouts.
You
Oh.
testified at the state grand jury,
Mhm.
questioned by Mr. Lally, correct?
Yes.
You were asked about the Life 360.
Yes.
You answered those questions very fluidly.
Yes.
Yes, I know what Life 360 is. I use it all the time. It's an app, etc.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go over that for a second.
Mhm.
You admitted that it works as a quote GPS as far as where people go and everywhere that you go, correct?
Correct.
You indicated that it works as a reliable quote unquote tracking device, is your testimony.
Correct.
You indicated that you rely on it, quote, so you know where your kids are at all times. Is that right?
Correct.
And you even said that it's a quote unquote good parenting tool. Is that right?
Correct.
And the reason you said that is because it's accurate in your experience and it's reliable. Is that right?
It's a good tool, but it is not always accurate.
But you said when you testified in front of the great grand jury that it's accurate and it works as a GPS as far as where you go and everywhere you go, correct?
Objection.
Did you say that?
Can I see it?
Sure.
Can I see it? Why, bitch? You ain't gonna change. I'd be like, yeah, it's very accurate. That's why I have it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be paying for it. Yeah, Mary Holt, I agree. I agree. Watch this though. You guys want to see when she's super crazy? I gotta get you to the good part. Hold on. When she gets asked, we don't love you like I love you, no way. Give me that.
Out of your
She's actually wearing green, so hold on. I gotta change it up.
just a moment. Thank you.
Hold on, we got it. She has different testimonies. Oh yeah, it's this one. There she goes. She returns. There we go. Now we're golden. 14-second mark.
To know something about dying of hypothermia.
Yeah, here we go. Check this out. Come on, Alan.
1:30, 1:45 a.m. when you left 34 Fairview on the 29th. After you dropped off the girls, where did you and Matt McCabe go?
This is
We
my
came home.
data.
After you got home, you indicated that you went upstairs, correct?
Correct.
After you went upstairs, you indicated that you got on the phone.
Correct.
On your cell phone, correct?
Right there.
After you
Wait.
got on your cell phone,
You guys, okay, listen. This is my breakdown. Listen, this is what they need to hammer. This ain't true. Right here. Here it is. This is her testimony. This is where you can impeach the fuck out of this broad.
after you got home, you indicated that you went upstairs, correct?
Correct.
After you went upstairs, you indicated that you got on the phone.
Correct.
On your cell phone, correct?
You see that eye movement? She
After
looks
you
at her
got on your
fucking.
cell phone,
Did you see?
You indicated that you started searching for stuff.
Did you guys see that?
Correct.
So if there's
Hold on.
GPS that
You guys see after she's looking to the right Okay. Wait till you see how she moves when she says this. Bitch don't want none of this.
Wrote in his statement, quote, "You've
Objection, Your
never
Honor.
met Elizabeth Proctor or Michael Proctor prior to September 2023.
So the objection sustained.
Ready? Come on, Alan.
If you in part of it, correct?
Which one are you referring
Your
to?
phone, the forensic extraction of your phone.
I saw what you showed me yesterday from Celebrate.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
From
I'm-
Celebrate, part of it.
I saw, the phone calls. Yes.
Okay. You're aware that that extraction shows that you got home after 2 a.m. or so. So that would be generally correct.
Correct.
The Celebrite extraction shows from your Apple Health data that you actually went up a set of stairs. That would be accurate, correct?
Accurate.
The Celebrite data shows that you actually logged into your phone. Did a login either
See? Right there. Your data shows that you went up a set of you guys see that? You went up a set of stairs? Yeah, she did, but her phone didn't go upstairs, Alan. And nobody pointed this out to you guys. Okay, this is why this is so important. You went up a flight of stairs. Yep, is that accurate? Yep.
Face ID or a passcode, opened up the phone. That would be accurate.
Correct.
The Celebrite data shows that you were engaging with an app called Safari to engage some Google searches, correct?
Yes.
That would be generally accurate as well, correct?
Yes.
So after you opened up Safari, you indicated that you Google searched something about ozone basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yes.
That was sometime after 2 a.m., right?
Yes.
What was so important about ozone basketball at 2 a.m. that it couldn't wait until the morning? Why did you search it then?
Well, first I was home. I was wide awake, and I had been texting about a basketball chat and basketball.
You guys, she was not wide awake. The bitch doesn't move. 2:23. When she goes upstairs. Once she's upstairs, she literally does not move for 9 minutes when this shit's happening. Okay. Then she gets up and moves for literally 30 seconds. Bitch is gone again until 3:50 a.m. Gets up to pee, and bitch is gone literally after. Bitch don't move in bed till 5:26 a.m. Bitch don't move. So she is trying to oversell it here when she's like, I was wide awake, because she has to make sure that it's her. She's like, yep, I was wide awake. I was doing all the things. This is fucking awesome. Watch this.
Was clearly on my mind. My daughter had been invited to join a team. I didn't know much about the team, so I just was like Googling to see, because the woman who had given my daughter the offer had wanted an answer.
So you say that basketball was on your mind, correct?
Yes.
Was there anything else on your mind in that early morning hour time frame?
Don't believe so.
Ms. McCabe, if you wanted to know in general how long it takes for a human being to pass away because of exposure to extreme temperatures, right? If you wanted to know the answer to that, what would you Google search? What phrase would you use?
I'm not sure. All I recall is what the defendant asked me to Google in the morning.
There it
If
is.
you wanted to know, I'm asking a different question.
Mm-hmm.
If you personally wanted to know, how long does it take for a person to die of exposure due to extreme temperatures, what would you put in? What phrase would you use?
Objection.
Sustained.
Well, we don't have to guess at the phrase that you use if you need to know something about dying of hypothermia, do we? Because you actually Google searched it.
Objection.
Sustained. Ask that differently, please.
Did you, in fact, use a phrase to Google search
This is great.
how long it takes for someone to die of extreme temperatures?
I did in the morning at the request of your client.
There you go.
And what phrase
Get
did
her.
you use?
I'm not sure.
See, okay, listen, guys. See what she says right there? I did it at the request of your client in the morning. This is She did not. She did not. She is covering for her fucking husband and his fat fucking chubby non-hard dick.
Really?
Correct. I was.
After 2.5 years of this, you don't know the phrase that you used?
Objection, Your Honor.
There's so many lies
Okay,
and
there's no
misconceptions
question.
on social media.
No question.
Oh, I apologize.
Are you telling me you don't remember what Google search you put in?
Karen was screaming. My hands were shaking. And she was saying, Google hypothermia. How long does it take to die in the cold?
And what phrase did you put?
This is not even, you guys, the phone is not with her at this time. The phone, her ass is in a fucking vehicle. The phone is with her fucking loafer wearing motherfucking husband. Okay? Watch this. She doesn't know what comes back when you ask her, what did House Long to Die in the Cold return?
Put in your phone. I'm just asking you to say it.
Say
Why
it.
don't you show me it?
Show me
You
it.
literally don't remember?
Again, she was screaming, Google hypothermia. How long does it take to die in the cold?
How about?
And I picked up my phone and I started Googling.
And you literally, to this day, right now, under oath, you're saying you don't remember that phrase that you used.
She didn't call. She didn't die.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that at her
Do you remember it or do you not, Miss McCabe? That's a simple question.
that morning, I don't remember specifically what I Googled, but I do know what you've put out to the social media.
How about this?
You
How long to
guys!
die in cold. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, it's been
Why
everywhere
does that sound so familiar?
because you've put it out in social media.
Well, I haven't put anything out in social media because I don't personally have social media.
I'm sorry, Turtle Boy did.
So if the world happens to know it,
Mhm.
that's not on me, is it?
I guess not.
I guess not. Costs long to die in cold is what you put in to the Google search, right?
If you say so.
Is there a reason that you don't want to admit to that?
Absolutely not.
It's
I
a simple question.
You guys, because she didn't do it. Is there any reason you don't want to admit to that? Absolutely not.
Right?
no reason.
No reason.
So say it.
So say it.
What Google search did you use?
Objection.
Sustained.
Look at her ass. You guys, think about what I'm trying to tell you. She wants to be like, listen, motherfucker, my goddamn husband did it, that bastard. Look at her. Look at her. Master Splinter.
You were seeking at some point to Google how long to die in the cold, correct?
Correct.
And you made a mistake and mistakenly typed Hoslong to die in cold, correct?
You could show me it. I'd appreciate it.
You later Googled.
If you could show me. Why? Why would she appreciate it? You guys, because she didn't do it. She doesn't know it. She has no idea. If you could show me it, I'd appreciate it.
Searched. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yeah, give it to her. Fucking deep throat this out. Ah, shit. Look at her side-eyeing like, you motherfuckers. You Googling ass Maddie. I'm up here covering for your dick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
While she looks at that, Mr. Jackson, can we bring our clerk back upstairs?
If she swallows that
Yes,
water.
I think we're back.
Thank you very much. Can you text Jimmy and tell him?
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that report and tell me if that refreshes your recollection.
Yeah, exactly. What you guys.
Yes, it does.
Does that appear to be an accurate
She needs to see
page
it.
from a Celebrite extraction from your phone?
It does.
It does.
May I have that back?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, may I approach?
Yes.
May I have that back for a second?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the actual search phrase?
Yes.
Now, refresh your recollection.
Yes.
But I'd like to have this marked as next in order. Exhibit, please.
You guys, I swear to God, when I tell you this, I understand that Turtle Boy made like a t-shirt and house. Dude, this hoe don't know. I'm telling you, she didn't do it. She is like taking it on the face, like bukkake style. Okay, she doesn't know shit. She didn't do it. She didn't do it.
Is there an
Matt.
objection, Mr. Lally?
Matt
Carry on.
did. Matt, can you imagine this? Just give her fucking face of Google cum. It was nobody killed anybody on purpose. That's the
Ma'am?
thing. It's
Yes.
like they just fucking shit got out of hand.
Use that, Madam Court Reporter. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Taking it for the team. Yep.
Move to publish this, Your Honor.
Okay.
Matt never thought that her bus was ever going to be ran over. Like, this is so funny to me. Oh, don't know.
Does this appear to be the document that?
Fuck
that is
yeah.
marked as Exhibit 99.
Yes.
Oh,
Um, I know it's a little bit small, Mr. Dixon.
Like Matt. Small like Matt.
See this column,
Yes.
third column from the, actually, it's the fourth column from the left.
This is hilarious.
Some data.
How-
and then
small like Matt.
Correct?
Correct.
What does that Google search say?
What does it say, girl?
House long to die in cold.
Now, you indicate that you did that, you made that search at 6:23 a.m., correct?
Correct.
And then you indicated that you did it again thereafter at 6:24, correct?
Love you.
Correct.
At 6:24, you misspelled the phrase and you spelled it as follows: how long TI die in CIKD, correct? Now you claim that those two searches were at 6:23 and 6:24 a.m. respectively, correct?
Uh-huh.
Objection.
Uh-huh.
Phrase it differently.
Sure.
What do you mean?
You've indicated under direct examination that these two searches were at 6:23 and 6:24 a.m., right?
I don't know if I gave exact times, but I said it was in the morning and Karen had asked me to do it.
And you, exactly,
Yeah.
you claimed that you searched it because Karen was screaming at you and
Exactly, you guys. See? Get this hoe. Get this hoe, Alan. Come on. I know you watching, boo. Get her.
yelling at you, Google hypothermia, and you Googled how long does it take for a person to die? I'm sorry, she said something like, how long does it take for a person to die of hypothermia? And you Google searched it at 6:23 and 6:24. Is that right?
Again, I'm not sure about the exact times. I just did it after Karen asked me to do it.
Did you quarrel with the idea that those were about
Karen.
30 seconds apart?
30 seconds
Okay.
apart. Okay.
And you're aware, Ms. McCabe, that both misspellings of that phrase result in the exact same search results, don't they?
I'm not aware of that. No.
Well, you Googled them, ma'am. You're looking on your phone and you Googled how long to die in cold and how long to die in CIKD. Both of those. You Googled them, right?
I did. Yes.
And they result in the exact same search results, don't they?
I have no idea.
So my question to you is, why the two searches?
Why the two searches? That's a great idea. Like, that's a great question. Why the two searches? And everybody, listen to this. Listen to this answer.
She was standing next to me, screaming, shaking my hand. My hand was cold.
You guys, this is amazing. This is why, Lana, why are you trying to ruin the defense? Are you kidding me? Listen to her testimony. She was shaking my hands. She was shaking my hands. This is fucking not true. Okay, she is sitting from 6:17 in a vehicle. She is not moving from 6:17 a.m. Okay, until 26 and 50 seconds. This hoe does not move. Do you see 6:23 and 57 seconds, 6:24 and 18 seconds? Do you see when this is happening? Also, the phone is moving when this is happening. This is not Jen McCabe. This is not in a vehicle where Karen is screaming. This is important. This will prove that they are so full of goddamn shit, what I've provided.
I was trying to Google it. Obviously, maybe whatever came up first didn't make sense because I had some misspellings. So I did it again.
So Hoslong to die in cold results in articles concerning dying of exposure, doesn't it?
We never got the chance to read it.
When you say we, who's we?
Karen and myself.
Wait, that's what he asked. He's like, well, what was what did it say? We never got the chance to read it. She couldn't answer that question, you guys, because she never looked at it, because she didn't Google it. Okay, she didn't have an answer for it. She never Googled it. If I was to Google Hoslong to die in the cold to figure out how long it would take, I'd be answering that bitch like, fuck, it says, I don't know, it was telling me that how cold it was, how long they were there, blah, blah. Oh, we didn't have a chance to read it. No, bitch, you didn't Google it.
I'm holding the phone, Ms. McCabe.
Correct.
So you're looking down at your phone and you see exactly what comes up, correct?
I don't remember exactly what came up.
Well, what came up was something about dying of hypothermia, didn't it?
That's what she asked.
So why do it again? Why do it again, Miss McCabe?
Alan, let her answer this in trial 2. Let her answer what came up, man. She didn't Google it, bro. Ho don't know. My shirt with a lot of coke. Ho don't know. Give me a nose full of cocaine.
You had the result.
You see, you had the results.
Why the second search?
I cannot answer that.
The second search because Matt McCabe was trying to fucking do it. He's the one that fucked it up the first, when he did it. He had to then research it because he knew what he was doing. You think Jen knew what she was doing to cover up her tracks? You're giving this broad too much credit, AJ. That shit did not happen.
Beyond telling you that my hands were frozen, she was shaking me and screaming at me.
My hands were frozen inside a fucking vehicle. She's shaking me.
And you see the time. Let me scroll up, please.
Just give me the coke, baby. I don't think it is their first murder. I agree with that.
You see this first search that says Hoslong to die in cold?
I do.
What's that time?
Nobody.
Got the it's right over at 2:27
Okay.
AM or PM?
a.m.
There you go.
Ms. McCabe,
Get her.
you made that search at 2:27 a.m. because you knew that John O'Keefe was outside in your sister's lawn.
No, she
dying
didn't.
in the cold, didn't you?
Nope.
Absolutely not. I did not make that search at that time. No.
Realized the next morning, after John was discovered, after 6 a.m., that you had an incriminating search on your phone.
Nope.
Didn't you?
Absolutely not.
No, she didn't.
To cover your tracks,
Nope.
you searched it again in order to overwrite the original search at 2:27. Correct?
Again, absolutely not.
She
But you
didn't.
were nervous and you screwed it up. So the
Nope.
first search you made
Nope. Matt was nervous and he screwed it up. Look at her.
at 6:23 was
You guys, I'm telling you, what she is lying about, she didn't Google the 227 and she's taking the hit because the only reason why she needs to say that she did the 623 is because she's like, yeah, I did the 623 because your client told me to. Do you see how that is so incriminating against Karen? But now if we say, bitch, you did not do 623. You did not do 227. Therefore, she's not able to say that Karen told her to do it. You understand? I mean, I'm trying to break this down. Miss McCabe, you didn't Google 227 and you didn't Google 622, did you? Then she's going to have to say, well, yeah, I did. I did them all now. Because she's going to be like, exactly, I didn't. Exactly, Miss McCabe, you didn't. Your husband did. Now, when did you give your husband your phone at 6:22? Well, I gave him my phone at 6:17, actually, in 52 seconds. You guys get it? You get where I'm going here? Fuck these motherfuckers. I figured it out. And now you can burn all these fucking worthless snaggletooth motherfuckers.
Long to die in CIKD, wasn't it?
No.
Get them.
You see the search right there, correct?
I see the search, but I disagree with your narrative.
And what's the time frame?
I do too.
6:23.
And you
Give me the
agree that time frame is accurate, right?
Again, it's what the report says.
And that comports with your memory of that morning, about 6:23 in the morning and 51 seconds.
Correct.
There's a second search, correct?
Correct.
And this one, at 6:24, it says Hosslong to die in cold. 6:24:16, correct?
Correct.
I'm sorry, 18. I was up that grade. And that comports with your memory as well.
I remember Googling it at the request of the defendant. Yes.
About 27 seconds apart, correct?
Yes.
But the reality is your first search didn't comport with the 2:27 a.m. search, did it? It was a different spelling, wasn't it?
I never searched a 227. That is not reality.
But the 6:24 search did exactly mirror the search that, according to this report,
That's how you know. Listen.
Correct?
I'm sure Celebrate.
Listen. That's how you know right here when she's like, I didn't make the 227 search. Okay. Then how would the person who made the 220 or the 622 and 623 search, right? How would they know how the hoe made the 227 search? Like when she's over here saying, I didn't make the 227 search, but yet it's the same as the 623 search. So you both all fucking typed it up the same way, but it isn't the same typer. This is how another way that you prove that Fatty Bo Batty Mo Maddie did it, and this hoe is covering for her man for the 623 search only so that she could say that Karen told me to do it. Like, y'all, come on, get on my level, get on this train and plow these cum rags.
It will be able to explain it to you. I can't.
And then of those three searches, one of them ended up deleted. Isn't that right?
I never deleted any search.
Take a look at the Celebrate report, top search, and the column marked deleted. What do you see?
I see a yes.
I see, yes.
Ms. McCabe, the reason you deleted that 2:27 a.m. call is because you realized that if you were caught Googling how long it takes for a person to die in the cold 3.5 hours before John's body was found, that would incriminate you, wouldn't it?
Objection.
The objection sustained.
Did you delete that search because you knew that you would be implicated in John O'Keefe's death if that search was found on your phone?
Objection.
Could you answer that, please?
I did not delete that search. I never made that search at 2:23. I never would have left John O'Keefe out in the cold to die because he was my friend that I love.
I believe that. And look at, she turns to the right.
But he's
And
not.
do you see that? She turns over there to the right and says it. You guys, she's telling the truth there. She's saying she did not make that 220. She says 223 search. Okay. She didn't. I am telling you, she didn't make that search. And I believe that she wouldn't have left him on the lawn. I believe it. That was her friend and she loved him. I believe that because he was. But to Matt, to fucking Higgins, and to Brian Albert, no. Matt used her phone for the 227 search, then came to the scene, acted like he either didn't have his phone or his phone was back in the SUV. Here, call fucking Brian. She says, you know, they want to talk to whoever. Call Brian. He's not inside. Here, like, he's like, I don't have my phone with me. He knew he needed to get her phone. And before he called Brian at 6:23, he does these Google searches to, why would you fucking do that, dude? Because you know what you did at 2:27. And if it was her that did it at 2:27, then you for sure wouldn't be fucking Googling that shit. She didn't fucking know. I'm telling you, until after the fact. And then she covered it up because she had to make a choice. It's either her husband goes down or Karen Reed goes down. And there's a lot of people out there in the world, and I'm sorry, but you would cover for your husband, the father of your children. And that fat fuck has let her be this, like, you've let the world think that she's this fucking horrible bitch when all she's done is cover for your fat fucking lame ass. I bet you're the worst lay ever. You girls would have to fucking just sit and spin because you ain't doing a goddamn thing. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. He's a piece of shit. Turtle Boy, take your camera and shove it up this man's fucking ass. She's a horrible human because she knows that Karen didn't do this, but she's covering for her fucking husband, the dad of her children.
Family, is it?
Family and friends.
Objection.
Sustained.
You acknowledge that you made the search at 6:23, don't you?
In the morning, I did, yes.
You acknowledge that you made the search at 6:24.
Multiple times in the morning, yes.
Of the three.
See how she closed her eyes right there? When she fucking said that, it's not the truth. It's not the truth. She did not make the morning searches.
Objection.
Sustained.
You acknowledge that you made the search at 6:23, don't you?
In the morning, I did, yes.
You acknowledge that you made the search at 6:24.
Lie.
Multiple times in the morning, yes.
Of the three searches.
Lies. See those? That's the lies. She didn't make those searches. She didn't make the 20. She doesn't even acknowledge the 22, 27 ones.
Show up that were all found on your phone. The one that you disavowed.
Because like that, she's telling. Where she's lying is saying that she made the 6 one because she has to say that she made those because she's attributing those to Karen told me to do that.
Is the one that took place at 2:27 a.m., which would implicate you and exonerate my client, correct?
Objection.
Sustained. Can I ask it differently, Mr. Jackson?
Of those three searches, there was only one marked deleted. Isn't that right?
Correct.
That was the one at 2:27 a.m., correct?
I wouldn't even know how to go in and delete a search.
That's not what I asked you. The one according to the celebrant.
Guys, listen to what she's saying right there. Why wouldn't she just answer it and say like, but she wants everybody, I wouldn't even know how to delete that. She's not lying there. She's telling the truth. She's like, fuck these bastards.
Right report that was deleted, the one at 2:27 a.m., correct?
Correct.
You would agree that that's awfully convenient for you, isn't it?
Objection.
Sustained.
A lot of blanks.
That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Lally?
Thank you.
Huge ass swallow there. Huge ass swallow. You know what? If Lally had a damn brain, he would have just said no more further questions. Okay. All right. There is no rehabilitating this, but he's gonna try to rehabilitate it. You guys, I'm telling you. Matt McCabe did the Google searches. All right. And it's just what it is. That's what the data says. And she is taking the blame for that fat fucking piece of shit. It's fucking horrible. Horrible if I would have to lie for someone like this.
Yes.
Now I have to, I can't. There you go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Going back a little bit, you were asking questions about the Life 360 application that you had on your phone, is that right?
Yes.
And you're familiar with that app and familiar with sort of using that app to see where your children are at various times, is that correct?
Yes.
And from your experience using that app, how accurate is it as far as location, time, or anything in regard to it?
Pretty accurate, varying some of their locations and sometimes weather.
Have you ever had instances in which you were told someone was somewhere and they were not there?
Yes.
And you were asking questions about Ryan Nagel's truck, correct?
Yes.
And do you know, or did you on January 29, 2022, did you know Ryan Nagel?
I did not.
Do you know what kind of vehicle he drove?
I did not.
Keep your voice up, Mr. Lally, please.
Do you know whether or not that was actually somebody else's truck?
I do not know.
Do you know whether or not on January 29, 2022, Ryan Nagel had a friend named Ricky?
I do now.
But on the 29th, did you?
No.
On the 29th, did you have any idea what kind of vehicle he drove?
No.
The person you didn't know.
Right. Correct.
And when you looked outside as far as the truck was concerned, did you even see a truck?
I just saw lights, vehicle. I didn't focus much attention to what was over there.
So fair to say you weren't paying attention to a truck you didn't see, a person you didn't know that you had never seen before, correct?
Sustained as to that point.
Now, you were asking questions about texts between Ryan Nagel and Julie Nagel, correct?
Yes.
And as far as when those texts were sent, you don't know, do you?
Can you clarify?
Do you know whether or not Ryan Nagel texted his sister Julie before he had even pulled on Fairview Road?
They were texting about his arrival.
Texting about his arrival, but do you know where Ryan Nagel was when he was texting Julie about his arrival?
I believe he was outside.
But you don't know. Is that fair to say?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you know whether or not Ryan Nagel was on Cedar Crest or somewhere else when he texted Julie that he was about to arrive or that he was there?
Objection.
I'll allow it. Do you know that?
I don't know that now.
As far as the
Lally's
vehicle
leading.
the truck Mr. Nagel was in, did you see either of those vehicles arrive in front of Fairview?
Yes.
You saw them pull up.
No, actually, are you asking if I saw them pulling up or if I saw when they arrived? I did not see them pulling up.
So at some point after they arrived, your attention was drawn outside.
Yes.
And when we're talking about you going to the door and looking outside, how long a period are you looking at?
Not long.
So would you describe it as either a glance or more of a, were you staring intently at the vehicle out front of the house?
Objection.
Sustained.
How would you describe the manner in which you were looking out at the SUV in front of the house?
Dude, he can't ask a question without leading. He's a fucking piece of shit. Fuck you, Lally, you leading fuck.
I would go to the front door. I look out. I saw the vehicle. I believe I sent a text and I went and sat back down.
The data shows on her iWatch, her Apple Watch, that she is not doing any of the sort. She's not moving for 10 straight minutes. She's not getting up, sitting down, getting up, sitting down, getting up, sitting down. That's not what she's doing. And until I isolated the iPhone and the iWatch, I knew she wasn't doing it by then, but when you truly isolate the two, it even shows more of like a, geez, I knew the hoe wasn't moving, but like, damn, she's like barely moving from the time that she gets in that motherfucker up and until I believe that they then get back from wherever they were at 12:41-ish, 12:42-ish. When the boys all arrive back and John's not with them, that's when I believe that the boys say that, oh, I thought John was getting a ride with so-and-so, like Matt's just like, oh, I don't know. He like walked off or got mad or what, that's what led to the whole, like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Where is he? Like, that's what led to that whole, but that doesn't start until 12:40. But this whole getting up and getting down between 12:30 and 12:40, just, it's the Apple Watch shows completely different data. The hoe is incapacitated. She's taken it.
In any of those times that you went to the door, and do you know how many times you went to the door?
I don't know exactly.
At least twice, is that correct?
At least, yes.
Yeah.
Now, in those at least twice that you, well, at least twice that you saw the vehicle and once that you saw that the vehicle was gone, correct?
Yeah, so I guess actually it was more than twice because I saw the vehicle move as well.
She saw it move.
When you say as far as you saw the vehicle move, did you see the vehicle physically move, or it was in one place and then you came back later and it was in a different?
It was in one place, and then when I came back, it was further up.
Now,
Okay.
at those points in time, that you took a glance out the storm door.
Okay, so the really important thing here to know is that when this would have all been happening, because we know that Karen is physically at John's house by 12:36 because she's on the Wi-Fi, then she makes a call at 12:37. So when all of this is happening, when she's talking about she's physically seeing stuff move, you guys, the girl's phone from 12:25 or not her phone, well, actually her phone and her watch from 12:25 to 12:35 a.m. her phone nor her watch move. That means the hoe can't be getting up, sitting down, looking at the door, come back over. She does not move. She does not move. And so she sits here and she says that she gets up and she walks over to the door. Then she must have got up 3 times then. I'm telling you, the data on her iPhone and her watch show no movement. And I have no idea why the defense, they need to use this. You couldn't have seen this. You couldn't have seen this. You weren't getting up, so you use it through the expert. You use the expert getting on the stand and saying, okay, so you plotted her movements. Let's talk about it. If Jen McCabe said that she was there and she was doing X, Y, and Z, like she's saying here, what does the data show? The same way that they did it in the Murdoch case. This has to be used in this case. You have to put these dogs down. And the dogs are Jen and Matt. Jen is covering for Matt.
Did you see anybody outside of the vehicle?
No.
Did you see inside of it?
No.
Did you see anybody outside other than QnA go on the front lawn, front walkway, or anything else?
No.
At any point in time while you were at 34th Fairview that night, did you see John O'Keefe?
No.
At any point in time when you texted John O'Keefe after you arrived at Fairview, did John O'Keefe respond?
No.
At any point in time after you arrived at Fairview, or after you hung up from the 12:18 a.m. call in which you were describing where 34th Fairview was in reference to Bella's house, did you ever hear from John O'Keefe ever again?
Okay, now that phone call, we can prove that happened in the driveway and the hoe walks away. 3 seconds into that call, she's walking away. She can't be giving, go past Bella's house and none of that should happen either. This is imperative.
No.
No. And you guys, she did not see him. She didn't see him. Nobody saw him. John O'Keefe got into a vehicle and then drove away with those fucking pricks. Got his ass fucking kicked. Got his ass dumped on that lawn as an insurance piece to make sure that Brian Albert didn't fucking blame other people.
And during that about 20-minute or so period of time when Mr. O'Keefe or the defendant's SUV is in front of the house, you never heard anything from John O'Keefe, correct?
Correct.
And did that strike you as unusual as far as him not responding?
I thought it was strange, but then I thought that they just might have decided to go home or had gotten into a fight or Kaylee wanted him home.
Now, you're looking out through the storm door and you see Alexis
They got into a fight.
with its lights, right?
Correct.
And from that area, the secondary area, up by the flagpole and the fire hydrant, that's the same area where you found John O'Keefe the next morning, correct?
Correct.
And with reference to that area, is there any lights as far as street lights or anything that you're aware of in that area?
No, it's a dark area in the corner of the lot.
Now, at any point in time, were you looking or were you expecting to see John's body on the lawn?
Absolutely not.
And fair to say, when you're looking in the dark, in the snow, from the storm door out towards the vehicle, not the same conditions as if you're standing in a courtroom or sitting in a courtroom today, about 10 feet away from somebody during the daytime with lights on, correct?
Correct.
In fact, when you go back to Fairview the next morning, and again, who was the person who requested or directed to go to Fairview?
Karen.
See that?
You go to Fairview along with the defendant and Ms. Roberts at the defendant's direction sometime around 6 a.m.
How could it be her direction to go there if she remember this? But I thought you said that she didn't remember that she went there. So why would she ever direct y'all to go there? That's contradicting in itself.
When was it that you first saw Mr. O'Keefe?
I wasn't the one to first see him. Karen was.
She's banging on the door, asking to be let out. She goes directly over to the bus, correct?
Correct.
And neither you nor Ms. Roberts, well, you didn't see Mr. O'Keefe on the lawn until after she did that, right?
No, because I was so fucking hungover, like I could barely move. I got in the fucking vehicle with her because my fucking husband made me.
Correct.
And that was after you had already sort of driven a little bit past where he was, correct?
Correct.
Now, with reference to you get home from Fairview around 2 a.m. or somewhere in that time frame, you go up to bed and you do some searches on your phone, correct?
Correct.
And so there's a Safari tablet or application on your phone.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
That's typically where you would access Google.
Yes.
And you were looking at Ozone basketball. You're also looking at hockey, is that right?
Sustained.
What, if anything else, were you looking at beyond the Ozone basketball you talked
Let's see Ozone.
We had an exciting game earlier in the night against a local town that has a very good basketball program. So I went on Hockomock Sports to look at the recap, and typically I'll do that to see how other teams did, etc.
And around that same time, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, when you did that, as far as looking things up on Google, were you opening up new tabs within Safari as you were looking at different websites or different topics?
No.
And when you went to bed or you went to sleep that evening, at some point you turned off your phone, right?
Correct.
And did you X out that box, that Safari tab that you were doing those searches with regard to Ozone and Hockomock?
What's up, Scotty?
I used to always leave my tabs open and my kids would yell at me.
Multiple tabs open, is that correct?
Drains my battery, etc. Yes.
My kids would
Then
yell
flash
at me.
forward to sometime after 6 a.m., you're on the side of the road and the defendant asks you to conduct or look up something with
See how she's always adding extra around this whole like Google shit? She wants nothing to do with it, man. She answers it by talking about her kids. Like, what? Who runs your panties in your house? Fucking Jen. Comrade right there.
with regard to hypothermia or how long to die in for, correct?
Correct.
Look at those shoulder pads. Can somebody make me a shirt with some shoulder pads? Fake shoulder pads on them. Thanks, 3D style.
When you open that up and you go into Google, did you open up a new tab or did you just sort of go into what you had already open in the Safari tab?
I went to what I already had opened.
And that's where you perform the search, is that right?
Excuse me?
That's where you perform the search that you were just being asked about?
Yes.
And you never made any search like that at 2:27 in the morning, correct?
I did not know.
Now, again, you've been shown what's been called the Cellbrite extraction report, correct?
Yes.
Are you familiar with how many Cellbrite extraction reports were conducted in reference to your phone?
I think a couple. I'm actually not sure.
And prior to January 29, 2022, had you ever seen a Cellbrite extraction report?
No.
Have you seen here today? Do you even really know what that is?
Not really, no.
Do you know what a wall file is?
No.
Do you know what a SQLite database is?
No.
Do you know what a knowledge profile C database is?
No.
Do you know how information?
Do you, Ellie?
Your cell phone?
No.
Now, as far as, let me ask you this: you had 4 children, and you were a mom, a homemaker, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
At some point, you did work, though, right?
Yes.
What did you do?
Okay, so our question here as we close out tonight is why wasn't Jen McCabe allowed to testify to being what she wants to call herself, a teacher? Watch this. So me and Bella, we were having discussions about this, and I'm like, why was it? Watch.
I was an elementary school teacher.
What grade did you teach?
5th.
I was an elementary school teacher. What grade did you teach? 5th. Ready? Objection.
One question, and we'll see where this goes.
What grade did you teach?
5th.
And how long did you teach 5th grade? Objection.
How long did she say? So is it because she's not a teacher, or is it because like wait, what? Like, were you teacher's aide? Like, I'm being serious. Like, this was interesting for like me. Like, why can't Jen McCabe testify? That if you're going to ask me like what I was and what I did, like, I mean, I get you to say like relevance. Like, was she? I get that you want to say like relevance on it. But if you're going to say like it's relevant because if I was certified in CPR, like I would have rendered CPR, you know what I mean? Like, but they have to go sidebar it, you know?
I'm going to see counsel at sidebar.
So they sidebar it over literally this. Look at her, look at her little hoopty hoop. And I was just like, I get it, but for a lot of things that they didn't ask or, you know. So here we are back.
If I can take you back to 4:53 in the morning is when you get that first call from Kaylee Kirkbush, is that correct?
Correct.
You answered that call and then the defendant is put on the line, correct?
Yes.
And so what is the first sort of iteration of the story that the defendant tells you happened the night before?
That they got into a fight. She left him at the waterfall, and he never came home.
And at some point later, you confront her with that you saw the vehicle out front of the house, correct?
Correct.
And so then what is the defendant's story changed at that point?
That they went there, and it changed multiple times. I'm not sure exactly. She said at one point, "Oh my God, I don't even remember going there." She was telling other people that he was dead. that a plow hit him. The story changed multiple times that morning.
See, when she first says it all, like she looks up to try to like recall her memory. Like that's accurate. Like when you look up, like she's trying to recall her memory. But then the rest of it after that point is all lies.
Now, on cross-examination, you were played a voicemail. Do you know whose phone that voicemail was from?
They never said no.
Fair to say that you're on 911 in the background of that phone call, correct?
Correct.
So it wasn't your phone.
Correct.
And there's two other people beyond that, as far as Ms. Roberts and the defendant there, correct?
Correct.
Was Carrie on the phone at all? As you saw?
No.
And so with reference to the timing of that phone, you had called 911 and you were on the phone with 911 at the time of that recording starts, right?
Correct.
Good, Scotty. How are you, baby?
Where the defendant had run over to Mr. O'Keefe, correct?
Objection.
As to the form, it's sustained.
What had you done before you placed that 911 call?
I got out of the car. I ran behind the car over to the body. I was in a state of shock for a couple of seconds. Carrie and I looked at each other and I said, I'm going to call 911.
No, you were asked to call 911.
And you said you bounced around to different agencies, correct?
Yes.
And this is after the defendant has hit the door and run from the vehicle over to Mr. O'Keefe's phone, right?
Yes.
So it's not your phone, and it's not Ms. Roberts' phone. Fair inference is the defendant's phone, correct?
Correct.
And so this phone call had been made or started recording at some point before you had even gotten out of the car, made your way over to Mr. O'Keefe, been in a state of shock for a few seconds, called 911, connected to 911. So at some point, it had to have been made in the car, correct?
Objection.
Ask it differently.
Do you know when that voicemail or that recording that you heard, do you know when that call was placed?
I don't.
Right when she says, I don't, I mean, it's over.
The time that you are making the 911 call, where is the defendant in relation to the vehicle?
She is over with Mr. O'Keefe.
You mentioned that the part beyond the 911 call where you heard yourself talking, you're at the rear of Ms. Roberts' vehicle?
Yes.
And why are you at the rear of Ms. Roberts' vehicle?
In the beginning, I'm at the rear gathering towels or blankets. And then a few times I go to the rear because I'm trying to speak with the 911 and Karen is screaming hysterically. And then Carrie starts screaming at her to calm down. It was quite chaotic. So I was moving away so that I could be clear with the operators.
None of that's true. Carrie Roberts said that she was trying to get blankets out. Like, what the fuck?
At some point, you went into your sister's house at 3450, right?
Yes.
Why did you?
Officer Lank asked me to go in and wake them up.
Mm-hmm. This is it, guys.
You were asked to go in there by the police to wake them up, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
And at some point, you indicated that you had called Officer Lang to come back to the house, right?
Yes.
And how did you get the number again?
Julie Albert.
And as far as are you aware whether or not Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, or any of the other people that were present had Officer Lang's number?
Objection.
Sustained.
Why did you ask Julie Albert and not Brian Albert and Nicole Albert?
Because I knew she was.
Because Brian Elwers. Sorry.
The only one that had his number.
This is so crazy. Go to town on this hoe.
You were asked some questions about when you were on scene, and you indicated in your testimony on direct that you heard the defendant say, I hit him, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
You also, earlier in your testimony, had indicated that earlier in the morning, the defendant had phrased that differently as far as could I have hit him or did I, correct?
Objection.
Sustained as to the form.
You heard the defendant make a variety of statements over the course of it, correct?
Yes.
And more to my point, as far as you recall testifying at another hearing under oath in June of 2020, correct?
Yes.
And you recall being asked some questions specifically about this topic?
Objection.
Allowed.
Truth be told, she don't know shit, man. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys. Have a great night. We'll see you back here. Love it. Be careful.